actual people, not fucking random NPCs like the people I talk to in real life. Then if you ask them if they didn't have breakfast this morning, what would they do? And they would tell you, but I did have breakfast. Quote of the day. I had dreamt enough for one small life, and of such follies, love, justice, friendship, glory, as well dream of being tall. Quotes from Tyrion Lannister. Have to do bad and make mistakes in order so we learn and grow. Otherwise, you stay stagnant, and no one likes a stagnant, boring, fucking piece of shit streamer. So remember, if you can't say fuck you to your friends, who can you say fuck you to? Fuck you! I even forgot to do, I was like, well, there's something else I was supposed to do today. Because look what we did, guys. We uploaded everything. So now we have fucking 300 gigs. How did we get so many? Because I attract them like mosquitoes. I spawn them, but they only come towards me. So they try to annoy me, but by proxy they hit other people. I'll pop in. I don't care about the beanie. I mean, it's just Rick and Morty. I'm Mr. Meeseeks. I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Look at me. Look at me. I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Like, what's your problem? Sci-fi, superheroes, romance, etc. Ooh. What is, me? I write basically everything. Our last we've just wrote the longest short story we've ever written called Cryogen, and it is an hour long. 10,000 words. To a Beezus beat Chi! Lie. Is me. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, Battle Chi Comics is definitely Zoink. I'm a legit people. Yay, legit people! I'm not legitimate because I'm not verified, guys. I mean, we wound up timing out, it is what it is. But anyways, back to the story. So under UV light, with sunscreen on, you look black because it's manipulating how the light sees you. So, the story is, there's a guy, and this is an extremely racist town. And he buys these sunglasses because he thinks, like, they look cool because he's seeing this and he's like, damn man, these things look badass. And he's walking around and he sees a black guy and he's like, what the fuck? And he just like literally pounces on him and beats the guy to death. And there's like a crowd around them gathering and they're all like gasping and freaking out. And then one of them comes up to him and slaps him in the face and knocks the glasses off of his face. And he looks down, and it's his son.
I'ma go to bed and try to get up before 11 a.m. Have a good night and stream. See you tomorrow. Fuck you.
Fuck you, Muffin. See you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out, brother. Take care, good sir. Wait, did it just reset? What the fuck? Guys, what the fuck? I was gone for like 2 seconds. What the fuck? If you can't say fuck you to your friends, who can you say fuck you to? Fuck you. You have to showcase every single book that you have. Pick your favorite books and, like, you know, go through them, give a little bit of a description about them, about the author or something like that. I think that could pop off. People absolutely love learning about new books and stuff like that in the writing category. So I think doing like a showcase like that would be really, really interesting. So we used to have this weed dealer that would just like give us weed for doing random shit. And one day I was like to my buddy, yo, if you take that bug zapper and you put it on your balls, I'll give you a ½ ounce. So buddy just instantly zaps his balls with it. It was down for the count, boys. That's the easiest way I've ever seen to get weed. Hell yeah, brother. Defense del Hasernada. I don't know what that is, but we'll find out what it means in English. In defense of doing nothing. Oh, I love this. Okay, so what do you guys think about that? So there's either that, and do you like the white background, like on the top like that, or on the bottom like this? It's just the black looks really bad with the background. That's the problem. because it's too dark. So I kind of like that you can see the shadow, but you also can't see the shadow. Oh no, okay guys, he was talking about your name, Bomb Dropper. I think he was referring to your name, is probably who it was. I think he was referring to the name, Bomb Dropper. Oh, you're a Muslim, you're bomb jerk mint. Cute Muffin, you're on fire today. No shit. So they don't kill them themselves, but they put them in situations that journeymen should never be in, and like angst them on to do things that journeymen should never do. And then, you know, they expose them as dark adventurers, and then they show how powerful they are as adventurers, and then they fall in love. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for having fun with us, guys. Today was a great day. We got some new people. We're loving it. We're having a time. We got derailed a lot. We did a little bit of writing. It is what it is, you know? We carry on. Tomorrow, we will be back. So remember, as always, if you can't say fuck you to your friends, who can you say fuck you to? Fuck you! Do you guys know what today is? Thanks for the raid. Oh yeah, no worries. Anytime, bro. I'm glad I had enough viewers to be able to raid you. Yes, freeze work, Zoinko. It is my birthday, Smokey. Yes, it is, in fact, my actual birthday today. You ready? You guys ready? Yo, boys, how's it going? I'm pretty sure my camera's fucked. 1 second here. Okay, there we go. We're back. I'll give you a follow-up question after your answer on that. K-dramas. I used to see so many K-dramas because they would be in commercials for like the ASL and the GSL for StarCraft. So what I was thinking, guys, because I'm still drunk again today. Today's the last day. I go back to work tomorrow. So I figure we're just going to do a fuck around day again because I've decided I'm dropping the story for now. I'm not pushing the Wattpad. I'm gonna take the story to its maximum conclusion, so we'll restart that again tomorrow from scratch. No worries of a deadline. Just let's get our voice on the page. Because last night I was watching Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I realized that every time I really like narration in something, whether it be like the best 3 examples I could give are like The Christmas Story, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and what's another really good narrator story? Maybe something like it's a little bit less, but like Nightmare Before Christmas, something like that. And each one of them have a very unique way of like expressing themselves, and I realize that's the voice, right? And it's like, that's why people tell me that I'm a good storyteller. Because of the way that I tell the story. So if I'm not using that unique way to tell the story, then I'm obviously not doing what I should be doing, right?
Oh, there it goes. That's the face only a mother.
So at some point in time, okay, here's my other question. What do you think if there's this character you like in a comic, but someone makes a live action, and that same character is completely different, is doing something he wouldn't have done in the comics? That's just the way that it goes, hybrid. Adaptations take on a life of their own. So when something becomes an adaptation, you have to be under the expectation that whatever actor is playing that role is going to have their own view of that character. And there are two ways to go about this, and both of these ways are the right way. I feel like my legs... Did you do a leg day today, Callie? Did you do a leg day? And you're all like, Mom, my legs! No, they burn every time I move! Besides my Sapphire universe, one of my plans is to create an indie animation in YouTube completely fixing the BS that a specific K-drama did to a webcomic I liked. I mean, that's completely fair, Hybrid. What I would do is I would go around and I would question other people, like go into the community of that webcomic and that K-drama and see what their reaction to that is. I'm closer to on time today. Good job, Sean. Let's all clap for Sean. Hell yeah. And if you can get at least 10 people to comment that you should do it, you should absolutely do it because there is a market for it. Right? When it comes to webcomic reader fans, most of them agree that the K-drama ruined the webcomic. Then I would suggest doing it before someone else does. Because that sounds like something someone eventually is going to do. It's like mods to fix faces on characters in video games. Or to give chicks fucking boob physics. Or to just give them massive tits. Or in my case, when I play offline Monster Hunter, I always make my chick, like, massive tits topless. So my tits are hanging out while I'm flipping around doing fucking insect glaive shit. That's how I've always played Worlds in Iceborne. It's just the funniest shit. But yeah, there's always a niche for people fixing stuff like that and getting the proper, you know, down. But there is always the subversion effect there where it's like, oh, well, we know that it's not going to be good because the character isn't played by someone who's interested in it. Right? It's like the reason why The Witcher was so good is because Henry Cavill fucking loved the series. And that's what broke him the most that made him leave, because he was like, you guys are just fucking it up. Fuck this. I'm out. There are currently 4 Beast Girl evolution stories started on World Road at the same time. Cat Girl Evolution, Evolution of a Dragon Girl, Wolf Girl Evolution, and Magpie Girl Evolution. It's funny how multiple people have essentially the same idea at the same time. I'm not doing it in live action. I'll be doing it in animation form. I believe it's better that way. Well, that's what I mean. Like, whatever form you're going to take, you just fix it, right? So, like, whatever story it is, just do that, right? That's basically what I meant. And yeah, like I said, if anyone wanted to take my Final Fantasy story and turn it into a live action, I would say no. You turn it into a fucking anime. It's not, this ain't no live act. This book, straight to fucking anime. It's the only way it can be done. Even if it was like good enough CGI, it would cost so much money it wouldn't be worth it for an indie thing. Because the entire thing would have to be CGI. Which is crazy. But that's what happens when you make a world that doesn't have fucking humans in it. For example, though, how would you feel if you have a character and you make him known as a vengeful person, but then live action producers make that person like a forgiving person? I will have stated in the only way I would take a signing for that, like a contract, would be if I have full creative permission. It's the only way I would do it. You live or die by my word. You have to do whatever the fuck I say. You can, you know, work me down if it's like something that's not possible, and find the middle ground to it, but it's like, nah, you don't do that shit. Like, imagine changing the series so that Zayd lived. Like, well, we don't want to kill a kid, so we're just gonna make him live. I'm like, what do you mean you're gonna make him live? That's the linchpin of the entire fucking story. Without Zayd's death, nothing gets explained properly. I have shared video. Ooh, Callie, I'm interested. I will check this out in a second here. What happened is that the character I looked forward to in the webcomic made a statement that he will cross the line and never lose a fight. But in live action, his statement is I'll not cross the line and will not get into fights. That pissed me the fuck off. Yeah, that sounds about right. Because that character's supposed to be the I don't give a shit, I'm gonna punch that guy in the face character. Like, that's kind of like, that's kind of how one of the Warriors of Light is. He's like the drunken fucking abomination dude, where it's like, he'll like stand on principle for 3 seconds and then he'll drop it all and just say, fuck it, I'm gonna fight him and see if I can win. And half the time he fucking loses, which is the best part about it. And it's like, okay guys, I actually need some help here. It's like, no, blood, you're on your own. You got yourself into this, you can get it out. Or it's like, come on, man, don't leave me stranded here. And it's like, kind of like one of those events that slowly presses him. It's like the characters enable him a little bit, and then as soon as the characters stop enabling him and he gets into so much shit, he is just like, hey, well, I can't do this anymore. Because the only reason I really do it is because I feel like my friends would like bail me out. So it's like kind of a character learning process where he's like, well, I need to stop relying on other people and maybe actually win these fucking fights. But he never actually lives up to that expectation. And that's just like the character foil, right? Where he tries and he tries, but he's just always falling short of it. But he's not a very important character. Well, I mean, he is in the fact that he's a Warrior of Light. But of the 4 Warriors of Light, he's like the least important of them. He's the guy in the story who's being dragged along by circumstance, right? He just happens to be a bloodline of the Monarch. So that way, he's a Warrior of Light whether he wants to be one or not. And since they all kind of lived and grew up together, they're all lifelong friends. So, you know, the other 3 kind of support this guy and they never want to leave him behind. But he does stand on his own 2 feet by the end, right? So I think that's really important. But anyways, Callie, are you back for your coffee? Are we ready to read Chapter 9? Unless anyone has any other things that they want me to do. Other than your thing, which I'm getting to right now, Callie. I was purposefully doing that.
I think that this is the female gaze.
No, that's Chris Hemsworth. Female gays are called lesbians.
Men think that this is the female gaze.
No, that's Chris Hemsworth. Female gays are called lesbians.
Men think that this is the female gaze.
Gotta do it again.
No, that's Chris Hemsworth. Female gays are called lesbians.
It's so good, Cal. Oh, got another one. Oh god, here we go.
No. Good. You swallow. You shut up. You're dumber. Make me. Not a chance, you angry little varmint. No. Feelings mutual. Already got one. So are you. Never. No. Good. You swallow. You shut up. You're dumber. Make me. Not a chance, you angry little varmint. No. Feelings mutual. Already got one. So are you. Never.
I think I need therapy. Oh, if you're subjecting yourself to that over and over again, Callie, that cannot be helpful for you. Healthy for you. at some point in time, you gotta watch some content that's not slop tent. You need to get yourself something that's not slop tent. Chapter 10! Brainstorm moment, sir. Get something thought-provoking, not brain-numbing. I get free therapy! Fuck yeah, Callie. Therapy's fucking expensive. I appreciate you answering my questions. No worries, Ninja. That's what I'm here for. To facilitate whatever the hell you guys need, man. Whatever you need, I'm here, man. Why can't I write anymore? Add upon entrance. Bogus. Why are you getting... Oh, I guess it is within the window. It's like a 20-minute window where you can get ads when you enter the stream. Between 10 minutes before the half an hour and 10 minutes after the half an hour. It can fall on either... Like, the ads can fall within those 4 5-minute blocks. Pox, you're my therapy now. Awesome, Callie. Remember, I'm not registered, but that just means I'm actually good at my job. And I don't have to follow the rules. So that means I can smack you upside the head when you need to be smacked upside the head. Why can't I write? Callie, the reasons why you can't write, and I'm going to give this to you straight, okay, Callie? Sober Scotty, much clearer thinker. Oh, 100% blessed. I'm a... Smack me harder, daddy. I punch back. That's okay, I can defend myself, blessed. Don't worry about it. Callie, I would say the reason why you can't write is because you feel the words just are not coming. So you know what you gotta do? You gotta go like this, Callie. You grab it like this, and you go, words do not hold me back. I hold back words. When I let loose, those words will jump. You say run, I say... like you're running for your life. If I ran for my life, I'd die. There, guys, that's my story. That's what I do, Callie. I just literally write the randomest shit, and then it goes away. Because I'm like, oh, I can write now! So just try typing, like, literally typing random words. Handwriting streets ahead of typewriting. The reason you can't write is because you believe you can't write. As soon as you say you can't do something, you're right. Exactly, Sean. So, Callie, just get it down on paper, Ming. Get it down on paper. That's what it's all about. And the second reason, Callie, is because your brain is cooking something, but it's not ready yet. So your subconscious isn't ready to attune it to you. But when it is, you're going to be like, oh, I'm loopy as fuck. It's all about, Callie. Because, that's what it's all about. Because creativity is a flow state thing, right? You need to be in the mindset. You need to be in the moment. Scotty, add leave-in conditioner to your wish list. What? I don't have a wish list. Blessed? I've never used leave-in conditioner. I think that shit is nasty. I don't leave shit in my fucking hair. My hair is fantastic. Why would I ever fuck with it? Vancouver, Washington, in some places there's signs saying speed humps ahead. Every time I go over one, when I was asked, was it good for you? Read Flow by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi or something like that. I rinse out after 30 minutes. Yeah, but that's 30 minutes of leaving shit in your hair. No thanks. I don't know how people do that shit. I can barely stand my hair being wet. I like dry it as much as possible, but I hate blow dry it because it gets all frizzy. So you just gotta towel it the fuck off, drain it the fuck out, wring it the fuck out, and then just let it dry for like 10 minutes. So annoying though. It's one problem with having long hair. It's just kind of annoying to deal with. But anyways, without further ado, let us get into today's story. It is Callie with Cruel Comforts. I hate sunscreen and moisturizer. Same. It's just not my thing. Seriously though. Has nobody smacked an egg onto the rocks I had on a hot summer day, then proclaimed they lied? I was told you could cook an egg on a rock during hot summer days. Yeah, it's usually they crack an egg on concrete or on a car. I don't know if rocks get that hot. I know they get hot, but not as hot as concrete and not as hot as cars. Like, did you see the thing? I don't know if it was real or not, but it was like... I think this... Oh, it's fucking Instagram. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's this. I don't know how to fucking full screen this. But yeah, look at the rubber on the fucking tires. It's literally melting. The tires are literally melting to the cement. Yeah, this is the one. The weather in Dubai is melting fucking cars and shit. And the asphalt itself is like molding apart. It's like fucked up, man. Oh, is this the one? Oh man, it went to the... I'm pretty sure he was gonna crack an egg or something. Get out of here, fucktard. Depends on the color too. Darker colors absorb more heat. Yeah, exactly, Sean. Cheat morals from ECS2. Bye bye, motherfucker. No one cares about your shit. Get out of here. Get out of here. Did say on the rock's head. Oh, Sean, I didn't get you. I didn't get you. The rock's head, as in bald man's head. As in a human. Yup. You got me, bro. You got me. Damn. How did I ever get that one? Alright, guys, let's get to it. Chapter 10. Cruel Comforts. Millen woke up the gecko mare and had lower the roof above me by luring it with an apple. Only clue is capital R. I didn't get it either. The hybrid jumped and nearly crushed me in one go, but I held on. I would have fainted from the hard strike upon my head, but something kept me up. I tried to melt it, but the metal maintained its form. She observed me and made a conclusion. The metal of this machine must be made of that alloy Mom told me about. She picked this one because she knew about your fire. Oh well. If you don't enter your first state, you're dead. She uttered a false laugh when she was hiding something under that grin. I got it! Dwayne The Rock Johnson! If that joke hasn't been done at least once, I feel pity for the mentality of the modern jokesters. Word head was a clue, too. Since when has a normal rock ever had a head? They meant like the rock crop, like the top of it. Like if it was like a spiky rock or something, it's like the head of the rock, and you crack the egg on it, and the egg falls down. But yeah, you know. Just the whole sentence didn't make any sense, Sean, and that's because I wasn't reading it properly. It's not funny, that's why they don't tell it. My leg! Callie, don't talk about your third leg here, man. That's kind of weird. I mean, please do. I want to know all about it. Don't you want me alive so I can help you with that elixir? I struggled to keep from being pulverized. My penis! Fuck! You guys want to hear a fucked up story about a penis today? So today, I go over to my sister's. We're getting ready to leave, so we all hop in the car. And we get to the end of the street, and we're sitting there, and my sister's like, look! Look, a dog! A dog! And we're all like, okay. And she's like, it's a stray! And she's like, oh, it doesn't have a collar on it! And we're all looking, so we back up the car, we pull off to the off-ramp, basically, and the dog, like, comes up to the car, and we're looking at it, he doesn't have a collar or anything. Jordan opens the door, dog jumps into the car, he's just kind of chilling, he's a little shaky, he's fucking scared as shit. Just this little dog jumps onto the middle console. Ad break. Perfect time for an ad break, guys!
Do not drink water. Do not leave your seat. Do not move your feet. Do not stretch. Do not go to the bathroom.
Fuck you, Smokey. Thanks for the toke, bro. I appreciate it. How are you today, Smokey? Smokey, today's the last day of fucking around. I go back to work tomorrow. Fuck! For 4 days, and then I'm off for 2 months. Fuck it. Feel like the blonde in the rowboat in the middle of the cornfield getting yelled at by the blonde in the Corvette saying she can't swim. True. True. Are you ready to sink, Toke Smokey? Cause I'm just gonna rip this. I'm just gonna rip this like nothing. 700 septillion! What are you gonna do about that, Smokey? What are you gonna do about that? It's because you identify as a blonde. Oh my god, sink toke. Now you have to get a bong that looks like a sink. No caps, no yelling. Sean, that's what everyone says. What do you mean by a sink toke? It's like synchronized toking, and they're like, oh, I thought you meant like taking a toke, like turning the sink into a bong or something. I'm like, technically you could do that. You fill up the sink like it's a gravity bong, right? The only problem is the smoke doesn't have anywhere to go. It literally just gets pulled down the drain. But you could technically do it. Oh, was I supposed to sink toke with you, Smokey? My bad. By the way, so me and Roxy are sitting in the back seat, right? I'd watch a YouTube video of that, Scotty. I know you meant sink and not sink, but the thought perished long enough for me to make lameness visible. True, Sean. Agreed. I've had people say that before, though. So anyways, so me and Roxy are sitting in the back seat, right? And the dog's just kind of sitting on the front console. And then Roxy's like, oh my god, its dick is bleeding. And we all look like, what the fuck? And it's like, dick is fucking bleeding everywhere. And we throw it outside the fucking car. And we all look at Jenny like, this is why we don't stop for strays. So we had to go back. And Jordan had to have a fucking shower. So he had like fucking pissed dog blood all over him. I was like, this is why you don't fuck with animals, man. But yeah, that's my penis story of the day, guys. You're sympathetic up until a certain point, and then it's like, it's just a dog. It was just, we're just like, not dealing with that. Fuck that. It's probably the reason someone left it on the side of the road. Not our problem. Yeah, just random dog. Tiny little dog. But yeah, a poor fucking thing. Not our problem though. We got a fucking restaurant to go to. We had a dinner to go to, and my parents babysitting. Like we were on a clock. But yeah, it was really fucked up. Now Jenny knows never. Now Jordan's gonna be like, yes, she's never gonna ask to pick up an animal on the side of the street again. Yes. He was absolutely traumatized. It's like literally like piss blood, like all over his arm, all over his shorts, all over the inside of his brand new beater car that was $800, but the inside looks like it's fucking brand new. Ugh. Hey man, everyone thinks the Good Samaritan until they actually read the story and realize that the moral of the Good Samaritan is to not help people because people don't help you. The Samaritan at the end of the day is the guy laying on the road, and the guy who he saved walks past him without a second thought. And he knows it's the guy that saved him. Like, you are making yourself look worse. I help people. I help because people don't help. The problem is, Blessed, you don't know with an animal. That Bible story, I know it. Yeah, but most people just think, oh, the Good Samaritan helped him. Yeah, but the moral of the story is when you help someone, don't expect them to help you back. That's the moral of the story. It's okay to help someone, but don't help someone just if you expect to get helped back, because they will not reciprocate. 9 times out of 10, they will not reciprocate. Yeah. So it's like, if you just, out of the goodness of your heart, and you know that you're not going to get anything out of it, go ahead. But if you expect any kind of anything out of it, don't help that person, because you're only hurting yourself. And you're probably hurting that person too, because now you're putting an obligation, an expectation onto that person. It's like, I understand this with like larger streamers and stuff like that, like streamers that don't take donations. Because it's like, people donate to like have an expectation. Oh, I donated $20,000 to you over the last 5 years, so I should have some say in your stream. Nobody, as in no, comma, buddy, you don't get anything. You wasted $20,000. You don't get to donate money to something and then say, okay, now that I've donated, I want a say in what happens. No, that's not how the fucking system works. You donate out of the goodness of your heart. You don't donate out of expectation. But that's not, like, charity isn't charity anymore, right? Like, people give to charity because they're like, there's a social expectation that you look bad. People pay into charity because they can write it off on their taxes. People pay into charity to make it look good in front of their friend. Right? People don't give to charity to give to charity. And that's why, and the proof to this is out loud marketing charity. You get like 100,000 times more money. Because you're pressuring people and saying, hey, if you don't give money, you're gonna look bad. Reciprocity is morally righteous. The obligation is right. Doing good to look good and not from heart is a lie and bad too. Wrong motive. Exactly. Says a Christian hypocrite. Cost about 32 cents, Callie. Anyways, back to the story. And you don't have other states to awaken, kid. And don't you have other states to awaken, kid? She was a flippant one. It talks! What, Callie? What's up? I think, given our age difference, you should be calling me Buck. Show some respect, I grunted. You're still too young to be called that, silly. Anyway, my brother is more fit to be the savior of these people than some newcomer. You can die if you want. A tear foamed in her eyes. Something was wrong with this girl. She dropped the apple and ran towards the bars of my cage. Are you crying? Take my tears. Hurry. I can't stand to see people die this way. I furrowed my eyes as I touched her face, and my fingers soaked in the tears coming from her eyes. Millen's tears on my fingertips felt like a chilling of the soul, and the mud seeped through the body to halt the functions. Smokey, let's get fried, bro! Fell asleep and entered the first state. My incredible strength threw the roof off this cage, and I escaped. Sorry, I wanted to be cruel so I could force the tears. I didn't really want you dead. I woke up. The first state was short-lived. Yo, some of my sentences are way too long. Callie, there's no such thing as too long! It's just the way that I'm reading it. I nearly died, but thank you. Millen nodded as she helped me out of my chains. I have a question. If your brother is Goten, why don't you have horns? The tears confuse me too. What's an elevated crite? Absolutely no idea. I have a question. If you're... Oh, wait, we already got that. I was born with inverted horns. They had to remove them or I'd die of internal bleeding. Tears are from when I drank a potion that gave... potion given to me by a spinner. It's when a cockroach gets high! I don't have cockroaches, though. Otherwise, I'd have some friends. Sadly, I got none. Not even a spider to play with. I'm so sad, all lonely. So you are Goten. I suppose you can live a normal life without the horns. Goten already live a normal life here. There are 6 places I know of that disapprove of our race, said Millen. My interest was piqued. You know a lot about this country. I was impressed. Most people stick to what they know of their villages, especially the smaller areas. I need to know as much as I can. I'm to be assigned the role of weaver at some point in my life, said Millen, looking down as if bashful to her own extensive knowledge. Can you tell me what those 6 areas are? Millen told me about Mimite, Tile her, Kill her, Bruon, Staysaf, Nomith, and Pilon. Pylon? I don't know if it's supposed to be an I, an ill, an I, an I, a Y, silent? I have fucking no idea. Each one named for its legends, except for Nomith, a city as bland as the sight of parchment leached. Of parchment leached of a tail. Oh, I see. My might named for the physical strength of its warriors. My might tell her brew on stay safe, no myth pile on. My might tell her, brew on, stay safe, no myth, pile on. Okay, okay. Crazy! Until her, rumors spun from thin air and came alive from the lips of a statue that stalked the women of the village. Goten here are hated because the statue refuses to chase the females of the race. Then there's Bruon, where Dionysus drips his own saliva to inebriate his citizens with constant rainfall. Those who drink too much lose consciousness, while Goten are only made stronger in their sleep. Stay Safe, an island of 1,000 cliffs, where one Goten is said to lead hundreds a year to clever traps that end in deadly falls. Their numbers never dwindle as the goddess Aphrodite blessed them with increased fertility. Die, oh New York sis. Die, oh Nisis. Nye? Dionysus. Dionysus. True. God of wine. Dionysus. Finally, Pylon, where those islanders are kept on piles of
This
corpses.
shit-ass accent is killing me.
Agreed, Smokey. Your accent is way better than mine. That's you, Smokey. Stop it. This is a form of bullying. Oh, I can't help it. It's true, Smokey. That's okay. This is me. It's okay. I understand, Smokey. I'm there too. Many think, if not for the Goten, their streets would be rid of the dead. But a creature dwells in the earth that preys on much-needed gravediggers. Bacchus is the Greek version of the wine god, and was surrounded by satyrs or goat people. Ah. God. Thank you for letting me know all this. I'll see what I can do to help. Do it! Familiar voice invaded my mind. What can we do to help? We'd make everything worse. Couldn't say I didn't agree with that thought, though.
Do it.
I felt myself the type of person to bury his feelings away.
Do it.
The voice echoed my subconscious feelings. I'm so goal-oriented, all else seen as insignificant or irrelevant is normally muted by what's in my focus. What am I supposed to do, Smokey? I don't know what it means. Do it? Your mom? I don't know.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Okay, fine, I'll take my shirt off. I did it, okay? Thanks. The voice echoed in my subconscious feelings. Pasties, please. I'm so goal-oriented, all else seem as insignificant or irrelevant and normally muted by what's in focus. Difficult to see or hear when I'm so intent on saving my mother. What's odd is that I feel as if I should know who this voice belongs to, as if their blood was mixed with the same waters I came from. But I should go. Someone I care about is suffering. I walked through the cabin doors.
Do it.
Wait, when you took my ears, I felt like you took something from me. It was really faint, but you should probably be careful touching anyone else. We're a polite but suspicious bunch. When my eyes adjusted to the sun, a group of jovial villagers danced away. A strange sight for me was the lack of personal bubbles. May be difficult to keep away when you're so intent on keeping together. An elderly but sprightly woman came up to me and offered a hand. Smokey, I'm not gonna give you points!
I can read better than you with my stutters.
I think I got a time. A woman one day will love your use of repetition. Do I look good? Yes. How about now? Yes. Better? Yes. What about now? Yes. How about this? Yes. Okay, what about now? Yes. Is this better? Yes. How about now? Yes. What's better, this or this? Yes. Uh-oh. Fuck, now I'm caught. Shit, this only goes so far. It's fine if you think that, but perception only makes fools of us when we don't act. Wait. Dance with us, kid. Life's a dream to be enjoyed in earnest.
Do it in my own time in a year and a half year for a long day, and then we will have a link from your bank. Links his bank. To my house. Lets the money flow. House burns down.
Fuck! No thank you, I can't dance. That's fine if you think that, but perception only makes fools of us when we don't act, she said. I backed away. She furrowed her eyebrows and her mouth gaped open. Was it rude to refuse a dance in this village? I let her grasp my hand. Her eyes deepened, as if a puddle had swallowed an ocean.
Now you have linked your bank account number and the money to your card is the brand name and address of my evil trusted confidant. One 488-555-911.
You know, you know. What, you don't like the branch number? Fine. You want the branch number separated? Fine. It's 911. Her eyes deepened as if a puddle had swallowed an ocean. I could see into them. I would kill him. Yes. Yes, I would. The only person in my way is my son. With his father gone, he'd get all the money.
911 is just a number. Why do people get so worked up about it? So is 1488.
I would kill him. Yes, yes, I would. The only person
So is yo mom. I forgot 420. I am sorry, Smokey. 420. I googled 1488.
Don't Google Callie, don't Google 1488. I should have said that. Don't Google that shit.
Let me Google it.
No, Smokey, don't Google it. If you don't know, it's a good thing that you didn't know about 1488. Don't got some Kanye enjoyers up in here? Oh my god. With his father gone, he'd get all the money. I should kill my son first. Yes. Are these good people, Pyrrhus? You see what she dreamt of. These are the thoughts she sleeps to. She's a mother. When the ocean dried up, I recoiled from her strong grip. She stared at me, her gaze empty of emotion. Did you see anything important? Said the woman. I tensed up. My arms fell straight to my sides and my knees shook. I wasn't afraid of her. I felt weaker after having exited her mind. I felt powerful in her head, almost like being in a state, except it wasn't my power. It felt good to forget my mother for a moment, and that made me feel scared. Curious, I walked up to another villager and touched his shoulder. No, you're doing it all wrong. I would do it myself if I had a third arm. Clock to his side read 231.
88,141,488 is a combination of two popular white supremacist numeric symbols. The first symbol is 14, which is shorthand for the 14-word slogan, "We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children." The second is 88, which stands for Heil Hitler, H being the 8th letter of the
alphabet. Yes, Smokey, you didn't need to put that into the fucking chat. But yes, it's the dog whistle for white supremacy. Just wanted to share my knowledge. Didn't even need to search out. Didn't even need to search online. That's all from memory. Of course, Smokey, of course. Alright. No, you're, oh no, Smokey, please don't. I don't want to get in trouble, bro. The woman beside him was dead tired. Her face was pale and her eyes were closed. I need to feed my son. We three all know some extent of hunger. Let the boy know some extremism so he knows not to disturb us. I could see a bed next to the two where a boy tried to sleep, whose bones were showing. He was crying. Listen to him whine. I could beat him myself if I didn't know your hands were just as good for the job. Go on, I'm not sore anymore. She got up and took a whip from the closet. I mean, true, Smokey, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, we all wanted to be grand wizards when we were kids, right? It's unfortunate that they stole that from us. I want to be the red pointy hat grandmaster wizard. But no, that means a completely different thing in real life. Fucking bullshit. They stole Grand Wizard from us. How are they allowed to steal Wizard? Some bullshit. You never knew 1488? It's because you're not a white supremacist, Smokey. I learned something. Yay! Now you know if people are dog whistling Hail Hitler. What are these people to you? I'm sure they're not saints. Now I... Individuals. The man looked behind him and saw me. Oh, what's the matter, kid? You look like you just witnessed a crime. No, sir, I didn't. He raised an eyebrow at me and lowered his tone. Guess we all have secrets, eh? He knew something must have happened. Well, I don't have much to keep from anyone. I'll be going. I ran through the crowd, and one by one each villager stopped their dance, their thoughts along with their limbs in a tangle. Each of them had a vial, a comfort before bed. each of them had as vile a comfort
Once upon
before
a time
bed
lived Scotty.
as the last. I wondered if they needed
Dead.
their army staff to keep them from their evils. Once upon a time lived Scotty, dead. Finn. Rate it. It's a 7 out of 10, Smokey. The only reason it's not a 10 out of 10 is you misspelled dead. But honestly, that kind of gives it a cool voice. So maybe it would be a 5 if you spelt dead properly. So like try maybe misspelling words a little bit more. So I think a 10 out of 10 would be if you misspelled once. And you did like O-N-E-S. And up and on were 2 separate words. So one's up on, a time lived Scotty, dead Finn. Would be a 10 out of 10 work.
One pond at time y'all live off Scotty.
No, see that's too much. That's too much. I think it's just the first and the last word being off is a good mirror, and then just separating the up and the on into 2 separate words, because you're not smart enough to realize that they're one word. I think that, like, visually, that looks authentic.
Nose up on a time lived Scotty. So how'd I better myself? Dead. One's up on a lime their life to Scotty. Finn.
That's pretty good, Callie. That's pretty good. On a lime, there lived a Scotty.
I like our they says life.
Lifed. I lifed you. Like knifed. Or wifed. Someone wife me, please. Wife me, like beer me. Wife me.
I may be illiterate but it'll still bum you.
True, Smokey. I will appreciate it as well. I think there's one more. There he is. He getting away, guys. When are you ready, Smokey? Whenever you're ready. Oh no, not this again, Smokey. Not this shit again. Okay, good. How do you lose your weed so frequently? I always put it in the same spot. Oh god. You knew I was gonna take that. I was literally gonna take the tote.
I can grind for you.
Of course you can, Callie. On my dick. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. She, san, ni, each, on, go, 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 go. Goober gopping, golfs and gopping, gab and gops. Goo gab and gops and gibs and gopes. Gib gab gope gone. I don't believe you, Smokey.
Scabidity lad orgerburistana venture to Bazdid.
How do you make it sound so good? Ska Biddy Tylador Gorberastain Biz Ventured Abbas did. Is that your story, Smokey? Hold on, let me break this into individual words. Skibidi Tylador Berastain The venture dab as did.
Scabidi Tula Dor Guer Barastain Vista Venture Debacity.
Dab as did. That's gotta be that's gotta be, guys, that's gotta be a sentence in some language. Out of the crowd, I made it into the swamp. When I got there, Millen's mother was meditating next to an army of beetled. She didn't react to any of my steppings. I grabbed one of the hybrids that were calm and sedated and threw it at her. Though it had wings, the creature was confused to be in the air and struggled to recover. She caught it before it landed on her back. So you're aware of me, but the staff is near those chambers. Were you able to break your meditation for it? I walked through the mud to grab the staff. Her clothes grabbed it before I could. How? What is that robe made of? Her eyes were still closed. Couldn't be Phobator's cloth. His wool weakens when sewn together, and this is much too strong. A spinner must have done it. A woman walked up from behind the chambers. Rendashir, I said. Millen's mother put me to sleep. No, woman. The Goten's mastered estate. I entered the first state and grabbed the staff after a charge at it. The woman I took it from woke up from her meditation.
Herminsinder Titsaplasta Slimpalagad Liam Verdunterlicknerb Dunch.
Battle of the TTS! It sounds so bad, doesn't it? That sounds disgusting. That's what I did to your mom last night, Smokey. My butt's a little sore still. Mr. Rockman, welcome, welcome. How's it going, bro? Oh my god. True, Smokey. I can't believe she agreed to it. It was great. I mean, sometimes you gotta push boundaries, right?
AIDS in my lad made my ketchup Sweeney Todd on a Sunday with a Sunday in Sunday church.
One day, Luke, I will be your mother. Dude, that's an amazing parody, Smokey. The DEI remake of Star Wars where Darth Vader is like a black woman. And it's like, Luke, I'm your mother. Oh my god.
Bingaldi Thomp Nail Vert Uline Paloibner Fug.
Joku, what's good, brother? There was a murder in my city yesterday. Damn, Smokey, that's brutal. That sucks. The world's a fucked up place, bro. Oh, you know, there's probably a murder in every city, like, every week, right? Just probably not necessarily reported or talked about in any way. Was it someone important, Smokey? And how's your day going there, Joku? We just hanging around, hanging out, having a good time today, good sir. Reading Callie's story, getting the TTS in a way about it, you know. Break it. They don't deserve sleep. Let them know their evil's better. Not sure was a woman killed by an illegal immigrant. Yeah, well, it is what it is, Smokey, you know? Got you, Tabble Game, and have an amazing stream. True, Cubano, thank you, good sir. Enjoy the gaming. We will be discussing many things. But yeah, you know, like the illegal immigrant trucker guy who couldn't speak English, who killed 3 people. He got arrested yesterday as well, right? Some crazy shit, guys. Some crazy shit. Enjoy the gaming. We're not here. I know that. Cubano's gaming. Not my gaming, Cubano's gaming. I'm gaming the system. Cubano's playing video games. Right? Like, I'm sitting here leeching off of you guys, stealing... That's true, Smokey, I haven't gamed, but we will be next week, because there's just really been nothing I've wanted to play. I mean, I got really discouraged at Sekiro, because apparently I skipped a bunch of shit and just went to the end of the game. Dude, Smokey, I would kill myself if I don't play PoE. Like... The only reason why I wouldn't play PoE is because the patch is bad. And the game still isn't fixed. And it's still in a shit state. But I'd probably still play till, like, at least, like, end game, because I want to experience the new acts. I want to see what Act 4 is like. Expand the story. Say this, but you played, like, 3 times with me last league. Yeah, because I was, like, my character was fully built out. You know? Like, it was, we were kind of already done at that point. This is season start, a brand new season, huge patches, and a pretty awesome looking, because I always loved Abyss from PoE 1, so Rise of the Abyssal looks fucking awesome. Well, you know how I said I won't be writing until like November in DM, but I already have like 900 words written from before I said that, and I thought you should read it. Why won't you? I didn't see that, Joku. Why are you not going to be writing until November? Taking a small break? Because I was going to say, I want to finish the story, bro! Leading me on hard with that shit. The brutality be real. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna forget all about it. I wanted so badly to snap the staff in two. Desire took hold here. It was the thought of their comfort with their guilt that made me want this. They deserved it. The build I'm putting together to fight your mom is epic.
Read.
What? I did! Wait, what? Was there something above that? I don't know why you said read. I read it. Fuck you, Smokey. Stop. You missed my... About what? You never game if you don't play PoE, I swear to God. You say this, but I played like 3 times. The build I'm putting together to fight your mom is epic, and then you just say read.
Love
You missed
wasting
my
your time.
comment. Read, read, read. Love wasting your time. Fuck you, Smokey. You're such a dick. Fine, is this better? No control afforded to me. I took the staff in both hands and split it. The ground trembled. A muffled voice resounded from the chambers. Phobator's cloth wrapped around me. Jokes aside, I like it here. I hate your writing skills, but you make me laugh. Damn. Damn, Smokey. You hate my writing? Okay, give me some feedback, bro. What writing do you like the I'm a fucking burgadersh? Yes, okay. So what I need to do to please you is write like a baby. Okay. I like writing with pictures. Mainly pictures. Fuck the writing, I just like pictures. You, kid, who broke the Caduceus? Please, next time, more pics. I'll send you more feet pics whenever you need them, Smokey. Who broke the Caduceus. Mend it with your flames now, or I'll rip the skin from your bones. I felt weak. I couldn't move. You think I'm joking. No, I know you're not joking, Smokey. I know that you like books with pictures. I.e. manga. Right? Comic books. Yeah. That's why I'm saying, Smokey, wait for the art arc in October. Wait, hentai. Yup. True, brother. He speaks the truth, my friends. Oh, because you're silly, Smokey. You're super silly. That's okay. That's why we love you. I felt weak. I couldn't move. I am Atropos. I cut the thread of human life, and I can make of you whatever your sorrow deals with. My scared bird with melancholy, I wailed. Atropos bent me over the staff and grabbed it to mend it. As soon as I did, I had a nightmare. Okay, 5 points. Give. Read. Read 5 points. Give. Why laugh? Okay, 5 points. Give. Read. Give. Read. 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 Give. Give. Read. Give. Read. Give. Give. Read. Give. Give. Read. Give. Give. Read. Give. Read. Read. Give. Read. Give. Give. Read. Read. Give. Read. Give me, you cunt. What's Smoke telling you to read? Nothing, Joku. He's fucking around being a troll. But then again, when isn't he? Oh, 100% Smokey. No, I'm not. How dare you? I'm not a troll. How dare you say I'm ugly? That's not fair. I'm Smokey. Oh shit. Guys, oh shit. He's coming for me. Oh no, shit. You know what I'm talking about, brother, right? You know the good ones out there, good sir. Yeah, you know, I know you do, good sir. You got that, good sir. I have a link, and if it is linked to your mom, I will press you hard, okay, Smokey? Drop link. Zero to 10 rage bait, Smoke. Not gonna lie, you should play League of Legends with me to learn the trolling ways, Smoke. League of Legends? What the fuck? He's not trying to purposefully, like... I'm not Asian. Oh my god. Smokey is the ultimate troll. The Widowed. My mother's least favorite hybrid, and mine too. Some of them had such deep red eyes as to make you think they're drowning in a sea of your own blood. I don't even troll. Oh, sure, Smokey. I believe that 100%. You're just 100% honest, and you just tell the truth. And you're not crazy. I just interrupt. To believe it would be death, as who would run it all if you've already died? You'd accept it, wouldn't you? Crimson Sea steals from you your will to fight as you die. And I was dying in this nightmare, 5 of them. Large had taken me in their fangs to drag me into the ocean. But it was over quickly. I had let go of the staff, and Atropos let go of me. He actually slept. The staff ignored his first state. I grabbed my face. Kid, what powers do your flames hold? I don't know. I thought they just burned. Rendishir sighed. No, kid. Flames of Goten have powers passed down by family. Tell me, have you fixed anything before? What happens when someone else touches you, touches what you fix? My mother. She falls asleep. Then she wakes up minutes later, screaming.
Do not move your feet. Do not stretch. Do not go to the bathroom.
This is why you don't have any points, Smokey. This is why you don't have any points. Shut the fuck up and smoke. You're not here to ask questions. I earned these. I'll spend it how I want. Her eyes furrowed. She shook her head. Oh, kid, your flames give people nightmares. The staff must have ignored your state because you can't be immune to your own power. It's my fault she can't sleep? Again? Oh, please, Smokey, no. It's all because of me. Hades was right. I held onto my head and got ready to scream. Something in my back sprouted. Rendashir walked up to me and grabbed my arm. Don't worry. Here, I'll make something you can give her. Millen's mother walked up to us. I stiffened. What do you want? I can't afford it anyway. Yeah, so I saw you had like 80 points. I thought you'd be a danger since you wanted the staff to yourself. But I believe Rendashir can offer you an alternative. You can live. What about everyone you've been killing? And the knee... Rendashir covered my mouth and pulled me over. She told me about Lucijoy and what happens to the last village everyone lived in. She won't tell me the name, but it might trigger a personality shift in Katrina. But there was a fire that destroyed everything. It said the fire was set by a goat and prince with red flames who made a commotion in the forest. Huntsmen went after him and shot him dead, and a famous story was written about him after some investigation. I whispered to myself, my hand over my mouth. That was me. Now the shop price is gonna go up. Yeah, it's inflation. What was that? That night I played dead. It would be best if no one else died. The fire must have done more damage after I left. Anyway, it's better if you don't interfere, kid. We'll be fine, said Katrina. She was oblivious to the fact that I doomed her village to a life of nightmares. Yes, Katrina. All well and good, but I can only make one of these potions, and with this goat and broke from the staff, Atropos won't let me make any more, will she? Said Rendashir. Katrina shook her head no. I gave some of this to a young girl you might have met. Her tears endow anyone it touches with the ability to induce sleep, but there's no way to know how it'll manifest as an ability. So the potion is still necessary? I asked. She nodded yes. I don't know
You're
what
in for it now, sweetheart. Take those sexy glasses off like a good girl. You don't need to see what happens next.
Well, so much for that, right? I mean, I did it to myself. It's my command. Right? I can't say shit. All I can say, Smokey, is why are you wasting your points on these useless things? By the way, Smokey, do you like reverse psychology?
I miss my sexy librarian.
How is
You
it a
can put those
waste?
Sweet sight setters back in place, slut.
Because at any point in time, Smokey, you could just ask. You just asked politely. You wouldn't have to use your points. Well, instead of using your points, use your words. Ask politely. Just ask, he says. How many times I've asked you to suck? And I've only done it twice. I'm a tease like that, Smokey. Okay, that one was actually funny. Smokey knows how to play with stuff. Edger motherfucker. I don't know what side effect whoever is drinking this will experience after drinking, but let's hope for the best. She took a dart from the beetle and pierced her skin with it. What are you doing? Don't worry, I'm used to the venom, but it's been several months since I made one of these, so it needs to be reintroduced to make another. Rendashir took a flask from her pocket and filled it with her blood. Thanks, Joku. Why would you use your own body? Wouldn't a gecko mare work better? I've been doing this for 150 years. My blood is enough. The spinner grabbed a spherical white object with steam coming off of it and dropped it into the flask. The blood froze instantly. Oh, is that like dry ice, Callie? Is that supposed to be like dry ice? You're making anti-venom, right? Why does it take that to make the potion? She sighed. You ask too many questions. Observe more, search less. Conclude. That way you'll survive alone. Can I at least ask the difference between observation and searching? Rendashir put the flask down. Those who observe don't act until they're sure. They also don't ask questions until they run into a wall. If you're wondering why I would want... Oh. I just sneezed. You know what's terrible? Sneezing while sucking dick. Like, inhaling dick. Bless you, thanks. I'm not gonna say bless. Why would I ever bless you, Smokey? Yeah, I'm not religious, so why would I say bless you? If anything, I would say... I need to sneeze too, thank you, good sir. I'm very religious. Oh, I believe that, Smokey. What kind of religious religion are you? Are you a religious religion that religion's about religiousness, or are you religiousing about religions while religioning about religiousness? Set the link to the doc in public stories. You can read chapter 16 and half of 17. Don't worry, it doesn't end at a cliffhanger. The rest will continue after my exams are over in November. Alright, sounds good, Joku. When God touched me, I felt something. Where did God touch you, Smokey? Please show us on the doll. Where did God touch you? Oh, it's too good. They also don't ask questions until they run into a wall. If you're wondering why I would want to crash into a wall, think of it as something to scale or walk around. Make your observations and decide whether it'll be better to climb or if it's short enough to maneuver. The no-no square. That is very scared to me, sorry. Sacred. That is very sacred to me, sorry. You're sacred to me, because I ride you like a sacred. Questions should be a last resort. I thought for a moment. With hindsight, my mother wouldn't be suffering. If I had the tenacity to deal with obstacles, I could have saved us. I'm almost done. I just need the staff to quicken the process a bit. Katrina tapped the flask with the Hermes staff. Time rushed for it as the pebble inside the potion shrunk. Joku has link for you. Link it, Joku. No, it's the story that I'm gonna read. It's not like your kind of link, Smokey. It's a story link. Rendashir's potion will salvage this. I'll take it to my mother, and she'll finally sleep well. Then all of us will be together again. She'll be happy. Kid, is whoever you're giving this to Goten? She asked as she bit her lower lip. I was a little worried. No. That's a problem. Human blood might resist a potion from a Goten donor. It's really the only reason I kept Katrina around. She isn't Goten, so I could make another potion out of her blood, but things have changed. She said
Pull
as
the
she gave
meeseeks
Katrina
down over
a
your face
cold stare.
PLS and try reading.
If I could read anything, Smokey, I don't know how that would go. I mean, it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, I could try to read, but it doesn't really help that much, you know? Like, eyes are eyes, but dots are dots, and they don't really just kind of work in the same way, you know? It's kind of just one of those things
Hey
where
Mr.
you never
Meeseeks,
really
I am a
should-
big fan.
It's okay. His task is to get me to 1,000 viewers, and then he can disappear. So he's never gonna disappear. I have a lifelong slave, guys. It's weird. I just checked. Twitch on mobile has less delay than PC Twitch. To fuck, Joku, it's random sometimes. It just depends on which tick you're getting the refresh on. I would have checked with you sooner if I didn't think it would be pointless, said Rendashir. What do you mean pointless? Scotty gets IRL delay. Ooh! Nice, Smokey. That's smart. That's some really good insight. I don't think I got him, guys. There's just one left! I gotta get the last one. I mean, Katrina's blood has become stale with venom. Her system won't produce the proper antibodies. In other words, she's dying. It can still work, though, if the recipient has any relatives' blood in them, even in them at all. Even the smallest percentage could save them. She handed me the flask. That was a cockroach. No, that's not a cockroach. That's a fruit fly. It's a fruit fly. Flying of the fruit, for fruit is how we fly, boys. I didn't want to bother Rendashir with any more questions, so I came to my own. I actually haven't been watching any Asmon lately. I've been too fucking busy. Please, if you ever feel that way, please reach out. I killed it. How about that, Smokey? I don't want to bother Rendashir with any more questions, so I came to my own conclusion. I will come clean for you. That's gonna take I have OCD. Oh, okay, Smokey. Okay. No one watches Asmon or Moist normally. You watch them while eating food, and you have nothing else to watch. I don't know, I watch Asmon at work. I watch Asmon at home. I watch Asmon on the road. Penguins triggers me? Why, Smokey? Something about his voice. I guess I could see that. People like you exist? Yeah, Joku, but I don't watch him live. I just watch, like, the video. I just watch the VOD because he's just, I'm never up. Never available. Oh, and usually, like, if I'm up that early, I'm working on something or doing something or I'm at work. He bought a farm, guys. So the best thing I love about Charlie is the ghost hunting part. I want them all to, like, you know, I trust them not to fake it. Because they really want to be ghost hunters. And they're like, we want to prove this shit is real, but we're not going to fake it.
In.
Missed. Boop. Yeah, of course, who watches streamers live? Those people don't exist. I've never met a person who watches streamers live. Exactly, Joku. No. I caught the bullet. And your aim was way off. What are you, a Vogon? Didn't want, grabbed a dart from a beetle and drew blood from my own body. Then placed the blood in the flask, which still had a bit of that smoking pebble in it. With a small amount of my own goat and blood, I hoped my mother would be okay. I walked out of the swamp and placed my hand on my necklace. You chat so much shit, that's why you are American, Canadian. I don't know what you're talking about, Smokey, but shut the fuck up. Okay? First of all. Second of all, shut the fuck up. We've been waiting for you. The ground swallowed me up. Everything turned to a nebulous red. I felt myself fall. What do you think you're doing here without the staff? Asked Hades. Can we get a third? I'm 14. It doesn't even make sense, Smokey. I'm fucking white. Or are you just threatening the stream by saying nuclear? White man hubris. Just sent you a skit in your DM. Watch it, because I think you didn't get the reference to what I said. Yeah, I didn't get any reference to what you said, Joku. Fuck me, man. Brrr. His foot stomped the floor with fire and a rage. Tara wasn't disappointed, though she badly wanted the staff. She put a smile on and stepped off her hammock to drift towards me in her long red dress and embraced me. She grew limp. Tara almost fell asleep in my arms. I let go and allowed her to stand on her own. After a few seconds, she perked up. This shit-ass accent is killing me. Yeah. What's this potion? Mother noticed the flask in my hand. Perhaps you should drink it and find out, I said. I gave it to her and she drank it. You know I trust you, Pyrus. There's no one in the world I would take something from and drink without asking questions, said Tara. For the next few seconds, I felt she should have asked. It became clear what Rendashir meant by save them. Tara fell to the ground and violently convulsed. She slept as if running from something, as if tripping to get up and fight. I didn't know what to do. I then noticed a patch of blood where I placed my hands on her back. I took a sharp rock from the ground and scratched both my palms with it. Blood spilled. I put my hands on her face. She calmed down. Bye, have fun, smelly breath. Oh, sure, yeah, you know what my breath smells like for sure, Smokey. Yep, 100%, bro. Sure, Smokey, you're the one telling me my breath is bad. Jesus, man. You need to get a mirror and see how bad your breath is. Holy fuck. While she slept, I returned her to her hammock and stood next to her. Smells like Canada. Damn, Smokey level 42. Holy shit, brother. You're working your way up there. Keep going. More than half a day passed. I spent most of that time with her and some of it talking to my stepfather. Boy, if she doesn't wake up, I'll send you to the cells myself. What did you give her? Asked Hades. No, my breath is bad. You guys are bad, both amateurs. Okay, Sean. Sure. I can deal with that. I gave her a potion made from broken pieces of Henry's staff. There must be some interaction between the potion and my blood to help her sleep. I stepped away, curious of what would happen. After 7 feet, she woke up, alert and disturbed. Pyrus, I fell asleep, but I saw strange visions, she said as she got off of her hammock. She walked toward me. Don't. She fell asleep on the ground. I backed off again and she woke up. Why can't I be near you? Asked Tara. Potion must be sending you to sleep, I said. I took the rock I used to scratch myself and infused it with my own blood and tossed it over to her in a thick sack. She could use that to sleep. It's a funny YouTube short. If you want to wait too long to watch it, you're gonna forget what it was even the context to. Joku, I already don't know. I don't remember what the hell you said. I have no fucking idea what you said that I didn't get. So, like, the moment's already passed already. Haley's tosses command, deliberately misspelled, randomly assigns a percentage of breath stench. That's a good one, Sean. I'm gonna write that one down. How bad is your breath? I couldn't repeat exactly what she said before she left Hades and me for good, as her words were distant and soft under a cry. Nice, Kate Sith, fuck yeah. The non-sexy cat people. Hades repeated what she said for me. One of the good ones. She's not sorry for telling you this, as it's the only way to stop you. She sees the future. You build for your country, for his country, and she won't be a part of it. Somehow the potion allowed her to predict her future with you, and she knows the only chance she has of changing you is to leave. The visions ended there. I could feel Ekthros take the goat's head off me. For a few seconds, we couldn't see each other, until he put the goat's head back on, in sign language. I see you apply well what you learn from your experiences, but you learn your lessons too late, don't you? Enough with the wisdom. Do you trust me any more than before? Was there a point to that? In sign language. Yes. I now know the reasons for what you do. What will you be using this information for? I smiled and put the goat's head on, in sign language. I'll use it to gauge your strength. I trust you enough that I can send you back to Hades to cause some chaos. Alright. He left for Hades with his shoulders tense and right hand holding up his head as he let his neck go limp. We were all unsure what his eyes could do, but I was certain he'd do whatever he could to get his mother back, to return to a seat of power equal to that of his stepfather. Hades. Pyrrhus would need to prove to his mother his change could prove the good side of meaningful. For that, he needed power. I watched him as he entered his fountain of fire. The stone rams that sat on its sides bleated on his return as if welcoming him. The waters swallowed him up, and the fountain bubbled with elation to have him back. There was personality to these waters not expressed by other fountains. I took this to mean Pyrrhus was special somehow and remembered the time I crashed into his waters, when I felt as if Pyrrhus was my own family. It's as if the waters of fire knew him better than ours could ever know us. The waters were more a part of his body than our blood was a part of ours. Made me wonder what it was that made his soul so intertwined with his river. Pyrrhus made his way through the main corridors of Hades' throne. He sifted through a pile of goat's heads. He took one which was particularly small. One he might have worn as a child. The head was tight around his, but it still fit. You know, Ekthros, being forced to change is probably the simplest expression of hate. One I understood as a child, but never found reason in. I could see everything Pyrrhus could do under that goat head. He was a child, never loved for who he was, expected to be what he either couldn't or didn't want to be. While his mother loved him, she thrust a life upon him which put more pressure on him. You have to keep reading, said his father. Pyrrhus was tired and could barely keep his eyes open. I couldn't read his thoughts through his eyes this time. The voice in his head was quiet and struggled to form anything coherent. There was only the reading. He read a story about a man named Thomas who took a path less traveled and was shunned for it. No one understood him or expected him to get anywhere, but he worked hard. These stories are great, but you'll never get anywhere writing stories of such good quality in a poor village like this. You should move to the city where the rich live, said the woman. Thank you, but I'm much too poor to move there, Thomas said through his teeth. Thomas was angry, but couldn't write anything more than children's stories. Wanting so badly to be a ghostwriter, he read as much as he could learn the craft of adult novel. That was the strangest thing to everyone. What was even stranger was that a town with a library had no visitors except him. While there were many who enjoyed short stories, they were rare, and the library barely had stories shorter than 10,000 words. Hey, mister, what are you writing? Asked a young girl. She was wearing green overalls with dark blue t-shirt, By her clothes, she was a peasant girl and likely wouldn't be allowed to read. It said those of lesser blood went insane when read stories meant for royals. Thomas read the girl his story anyway. She enjoyed it. She didn't go mad. A vile woman ran up to her. She had a crooked nose, was mostly bald with bushes of gray hairs that stuck out of her black hood. She sounded hoarse with her high-pitched voice. "Excuse me, who said you could risk my girl's sanity with your twisted tales? And the reason your story didn't drive her crazy your story must be rubbish," said the woman. Thomas stood and handed her the parchment paper he had. "Go ahead and read then. Even less of a chance I'll lose my mind over this." She read. After a few seconds, she put a finger on her lips and read it aloud. A group of children gathered to listen. "How interesting. Wonder if the boy will ever find his way," the woman sighed. "Your stories are special. No child here gone batty after listening. In fact, they're starstruck, silent. These should be read to everyone. Thomas, I run this library. I think you should run a short story writing program here. We'll fund it ourselves." Soon, after several stories, Thomas's writings became known as Goaten Readings, and they were read all across Tiranan. Pyrrhus took off his goat head. "I always wear that goat's head when I feel I can't accept who I am. That writer made the most of his abilities, and I should too," said Pyrrhus. Damn. Alright, well we got another one to add to the list, guys. Fucking Joku. Okay, so here's the skit.
Oh, yo, Al, come here.
What?
Tell him what you just told me.
I watch streamers live.
Yeah, no, so do I. Like clips, right?
No, I sit there and watch like most of the stream live as it's happening.
You guys exist?
That's what I said.
Oh, yo, Al, come here.
What?
Tell him what you just told me.
I watch streamers live.
Yeah, no, so do I. Like clips, right?
No, I sit there and watch like most of the stream live as it's happening.
You guys exist?
That's what I said.
Okay, it was on the existence of people who watch live streams. See, the moment wasn't over. I could just remember again, Joku. I wonder if this will work, Joku. Apparently not. Fucking hate Google Docs. Why does it not have a dark mode? Yeah, there's literally no way to get fucking Google Docs to dark mode. It should be fucking illegal to have websites that have fucking white backgrounds. It's too much. It's too much for my eyes. It fucking burns. Okay, well that didn't work. I mean, that's better, but we still have to, like, zoom in. Doesn't really fucking help, does it? Can you, like, set a background color? Oh, I guess my eyes are just gonna have to fucking adjust to it. Alright. 1400, he felt it. That sudden hypnic jerk. The unmistakable sensation of falling. He didn't move at first. Not out of fear. His body simply hadn't caught up. Shoulders were tight. From something deeper. Welcome back, Joku. Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to get it to go to dark because it's fucking burning my eyes out. Lingering. His pulse fired in short, uneven bursts beneath his skin. He stayed still, breathing slow, but everything inside him was loud. His heart was still racing, not with fear, but something else. The rush hadn't dulled. If anything, it was getting brighter. It was the feeling of standing at the edge of the abyss and laughing. Kind of rush that came from standing one step away from death and choosing to stay. Should have been shaking, but he wasn't. He felt awake, clear, almost high. More than that, something close to satisfied. Not because he survived, because he'd bet everything. And liked it. Didn't expect to feel so painful. It wasn't the bullet that hurt, it was the death itself. Compared to the first time, this was different. Kyoen checked his phone, 1401. So I really did go back in time to 1400, he looked around. Same room, ruined hospital, same crack in the ceiling, letting in that ray of light, and silence pressed against his eardrums. Dense and suffocating, broken only by the faint sound of movement stirring in the darkness. There it is, the same sound, the same wild animal. If I just don't make any noise, neither will the wild animals attack me, nor will the wild humans. Stepped out of the hospital. There was still the same as before. Rows of broken down cars lined the edge of the lot, unmoved, untouched, same as last time. He didn't stop to scan, didn't test the wind, didn't waste time. He turned toward home. This time, he moved with intent. I woke up in the same place at the same time. That implies the checkpoint to be fixed. No physical injuries, no items carried over. It seems only my memory was transferred. Trigger seems to be death. Or maybe it's just unconsciousness? But I don't even know if there are limits, conditions, or drawbacks, let alone why all this is even happening. Can't go around thinking I'm immortal without consequences. My next death could very well be my last. Should be prepared for the worst case scenario, till I can gather more information. Currently, I have 4 clues. First, I remember a date being December 15th, 2018. Second, Officer Kane claimed the year is 2020. Third, this city shows only a century's worth of decay, and yet, fourth, Earth itself seems to have shifted by 13,000 years. If I take these clues and try to piece together a timeline of events, then, first, something triggered what Officer Kane called the first ever shift on December 15th, 2018. That alone implies there have been more than one shift since then. From the state of the city, it's safe to assume every single person here vanished that day. Not just me. Everything was left exactly as it was before the shift, undisturbed, as if frozen in time precisely until about 100 years ago. Based on my earlier deduction, the city itself must have vanished along with its people, or else it was perfectly preserved for around 12,900 years. But Occam's razor advocates that when presented with compelling hypotheses about the same prediction, both hypotheses have equal explanatory power. One should prefer the hypothesis that requires the fewest assumptions. Occam's razor advocates fucking ad breaks. Oh. Fucking ads, guys. I can't take ads anymore. Are we back? Are we back, boys? Alright. Hypothesis about the same prediction, both hypotheses have equal explanatory power. One should prefer the hypothesis that requires the fewest assumptions. It's far simpler to work based on the already established assumption that things can somehow vanish and be sent forward in time than to believe the entire city was preserved for nearly 13 millennia. Then conveniently stopped being preserved exactly 100 years ago. That would mean after the shift, the Earth kept turning for roughly half a precession cycle. Then a century ago, the city reappeared. Kane said he's had to explain the situation so many times he's thought about printing it out. That suggests people who vanish in a shift eventually reappear, just like I did. And there have been many like me from all over. I still don't know the frequency of these reappearances. There's not enough data, but one thing is clear, people don't always come back years after their city does. That another city Kane took me to wasn't decayed at all, so their city and their people must have reappeared at the same time. That places their shift roughly within 1 or 2 years of mine, sometime after 2018, but before 2020, since that's the year they're still using. As for what causes the shifts, and what is the criteria for reappearance, I have nothing, no clue, no model. Not even a bad theory. These phenomena and everything that has happened till now is not only unprecedented, it goes against the established laws of physics, but is frankly absurd. Yet, all of it feels too real. Nice, Joku. Nice. Only Google Docs wasn't such a fucking bitch. But hey guys, it's a fucking lazy day today, so you know what we're doing on a lazy day if no one else has anything else they want me to read? Right? We're good? We're good, guys? Perfect. Okay, we're gonna watch the new Veritasium video because it's epic. This material gets tougher as you break it. Interesting.
What happens if I heat up this rubber band? When you heat materials like glass or plastic, the atoms vibrate faster. They get slightly farther apart, and this reduces intermolecular forces. So the material gets weaker. Under tension, it stretches. But when I heat up this rubber band, the opposite happens. It actually pulls more strongly. The rubber band contracts and the weight goes up. So why does this happen? Well, rubber is unlike any other material. It's waterproof. As it's breaking, it actually becomes tougher, and it can stretch up to 10 times its length and bounce back, no worse for wear. These properties have made it essential for modern life. It forms the tubes and seals that carry our gas and water, the belts that drive our motors, and the tires on our cars, trucks, and planes. Even trains use rubber in their suspension systems. It's a perfectly engineered material, but we didn't invent it. All of our most durable rubber still comes from a single natural source: this tree. It's a source at risk of being wiped out, and if that happens, the results could be devastating.
You're talking about a complete global societal meltdown.
This could be considered a national security issue.
You wouldn't think that we're so dependent on this thing.
Well, we are, and most people don't know that. They're waiting for a disaster to happen.
Rubber
Seemed like it went over your head, not gonna lie. Are you sure you understood it? If you didn't, then you should tell me so I can fix it and make it simpler later. By the way, I saw this Veritasium vid yesterday, a banger vid. Nice. Don't know what you mean, Joku. I didn't know there was anything hidden in it. Was I supposed to, like, guess what's happening? Not quite sure what you mean, bro.
comes from the Brazilian rubber tree. As early as 1600 BC, Mesoamericans cut the bark to release this milky white liquid, now known as latex. They noticed that if they let it dry, it turned into this stretchy, waterproof, solid lump. To see this in person, we sent Veritasium producer and mechanical engineer Henry Van Dyke to the Akron Research and Development Laboratory, where they
No, it seems you understood it perfectly. Alright, see you later. Alright, Joku, have a good one, good sir. Take care, man. Thanks for hanging out and popping in. Good luck with your studies and everything, and we'll see you again when we see you again.
specialize in all things rubber.
In just all these racks, even though they look solid,
They're all flowing right now. Really?
if you look behind one of these racks, you can see these are actually dripping.
Oh, wow.
They're flowing slower than we can perceive.
Unprocessed rubber is not the rubber we're used to. It slowly flows and can't maintain its shape. So how do you get this weird material in the first place? Well, just underneath the bark are special tube-like cells that carry the latex. Floating around inside are lots of isopentenyl pyrophosphate, or IPP. This is the building block or monomer of rubber. In fact, IPP is found everywhere in nature, including inside you.
Huge amounts of us are dependent upon that little molecule. We make short-chain rubber in our livers. It's called dolichol. You're busily making rubber. You are a rubber factory.
What do you mean? Why am I making rubber?
It's essential for cell membranes.
Special builder enzymes grab these monomers to build this long chain with over 10,000 monomers. They build a polymer. This is rubber.
So I get students to think about, if this is a carbon atom, and then I've got my next carbon atom along the chain next to it, yeah? And then I've got my next carbon atom, how many do we have to make up the whole length of the chain? Well, we've got tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of carbons along the backbone. You start going kilometers in distance from end to end if each atom is the size of this tennis ball.
But the polymers aren't stretched out from end to end like that. Instead, they're all coiled up.
If you imagine the room that I'm in right now, and I had the first ball here in the middle, the chances of the end of the chain leaving this room is quite small.
So after you've dried out the latex, you're left with raw rubber, a jumble of all these polymers. And this is why it's flowing, because over time, all those polymers slowly slide past each other. Now, when you pull on the rubber and let go, it bounces back. So why is this?
At room temperature, rubber's polymer chains are constantly vibrating and bumping into each other. And other smaller molecules, like air molecules or trapped water molecules, also jostle around and bump into the chains. Now, when you stretch rubber, these chains straighten out. But as you're doing this, those chains are still being bombarded by these smaller molecules. So when you release that stress, there's nothing holding those chains aligned anymore. And the constant bombardment from the smaller molecules and the other chains kinks those chains back up. So the rubber snaps back to its original size. And if you heat the rubber up, well then everything is vibrating faster, and so the chains are gonna get kinked up even more, so the rubber pulls back stronger.
This is why when you heat up rubber, it shrinks.
Rubber band's fascinating to think that when they're sitting on an old package of papers for a long time, holding those papers together, it's done by a perpetual pounding of the atoms against these chains to hold it, trying to kink them and trying to kink them.
But there's also another reason why rubber is so stretchy. If you zoom in on a chain, you'll see that the monomers are attached to each other on the same side of the double bond. This is called cis attachment, and it affects how the chain folds. On each monomer, there are 3 single bonds that can rotate to be at an angle or in line. But these carbons with 2 hydrogens take up a lot of space, so it's favorable for at least one of these bonds to be at an angle. That makes the polymer wiggle in and out like a folded ribbon. So when you pull on a piece of rubber, first all the polymers line up, but then each chain also unfolds. The wiggle makes rubber extra stretchy. But this state is very rare. All 3 bonds lined up is only one possible arrangement for any monomer. And one polymer usually has thousands of monomers. So after you release the stress, the chain goes from an improbable state, completely aligned, to a more probable one, with wiggles. The chain itself bounces back. This is where rubber gets its elasticity from. So natural rubber straight from the tree is already stretchy. It's also waterproof, since all those chains are just a bunch of carbon and hydrogen atoms, which are hydrophobic. But as we've seen, it eventually loses its shape. Plus, if you stretch it too much, it breaks quite easily. So we need to do more to get the rubber we're used to today. Early Mesoamericans improved the rubber slightly by mixing the latex with juice from the tropical morning glory, a local flower. And they used this to form sandals, bottles, and balls.
But for the next 3,000 years, to the rest of the world, rubber was little more than a curiosity. Then, in 1770, a piece of natural latex made its way to English chemist Joseph Priestley. And he took this piece and used it to try to erase pencil marks. He noticed that it easily, quote, rubbed them away.
In the following decades, people started exploring other applications. Up until then, people used to waterproof fabric with oil, wax, or tar. But some oils were extremely flammable and prone to spontaneous combustion, and wax or tar would eventually crack with movement. Similarly, there were no real good flexible materials at the time. Leather was the best option, but it had little give. Rubber had the potential to fix all those problems. So for the next 50 years, the use of rubber exploded. In England, people made waterproof clothing. And by the late 1820s, the rubber craze hit the US when everyone wanted their own pair of Brazilian waterproof boots. Factories sprang up all across the country to make new rubber products, including one New England factory called the Roxbury India Rubber Company.
In the spring of 1834, things were looking great for the company. The previous fall, they had sold over $20,000 worth of goods, rubber coats, shoes, and the like. But as the summer came round, problems started to emerge.
they used to rubberize the fabric to make it water resistant, which was fine until you sat down on a wooden bench on a hot day and you stuck to it.
See, all natural rubber has a critical weakness. It's extremely sensitive to temperature changes. It melts when it gets too hot, and it freezes and becomes brittle when it gets too cold.
This made the coats and shoes practically useless during the hot summer, so customers returned their items en masse.
Then things went from bad to worse. One day, the Roxbury manager visited the warehouse. When he opened the door, he didn't see their newest products. Instead, he was met with a foul smell and a molten, gooey mess that covered the entire warehouse. In fact, when we ordered some raw rubber, we were in for a similar nasty surprise.
Oh, that is disgusting.
The summer heat melted their rubber products and they started rotting. The sludge stank so badly the manager had the employees secretly bury it at night.
But later in that horrible summer, the manager got a visit from a man named Charles. Charles' previous business had gone bankrupt and he was deeply in debt.
He stumbled upon a rubber life preserver and he thought he could make a better valve.
He pitched the Roxbury manager on his new design, hoping to pay back his lenders. The manager was impressed, but couldn't buy Charles's work. He showed Charles the warehouse full of rotten rubber. Rubber had potential, but in its current form, it was just too problematic. However, he said if anyone could figure out how to make rubber stable in a wider temperature range and non-sticky, well, then that person would stand to make a ton of money. So Charles was determined to become that person. But when he returned home to start his experiments, he was met by an angry creditor who threw Charles into debtor's prison for unpaid loans. Charles asked his wife to bring him raw rubber and her rolling pin. There, in his jail cell, he started adding different compounds into raw rubber.
If rubber was naturally sticky, then why couldn't you add dry powders to absorb that stickiness? So he tried adding magnesia, and he got a smooth, non-sticky rubber. But over time, the stickiness returned. After his release, he tested the wear and tear of his rubber compounds by walking around in all rubber outfits.
His hands were always covered with gum elastic. He playfully said that the only way to rub rubber off was by rubbing more on.
Some mixtures showed promise, but eventually they'd all rot into a sticky mess. So he kept borrowing money to fund his experiments, but because his mixtures
Sounds like this guy's
all
bad with
failed,
money.
he ended up in debtor's prison so many times that he jokingly called it his hotel.
But Charles refused to give up. When a friend told him rubber is dead, Charles replied, "I am the man to bring it back." In the summer of 1838, he met Nathaniel Hayward, a businessman and inventor.
Make
Hayward
that
had
5
done his own
Phoenix Girl
experiments with rubber.
evolution.
At one
Nice,
point,
Sean.
he
They're
laid out
popping
a sheet
up.
of rubber and sprinkled on sulfur powder. And when he let this sheet set in the sun, he noticed that it hardened and had a smooth and non-sticky surface.
But eventually, it would still melt in the heat and freeze in the cold.
He offered his process to his previous company, but it was so horribly smelly that they rejected it. But Charles saw the possibilities. So he helped Hayward get a patent, and then he bought it so that he could use it in his own experiments. Then one day in the winter of 1839, Charles accidentally dropped a piece of rubber mixed with sulfur on a hot stove. When he went to scrape it off, he found that instead of melting, it had charred and hardened. His daughter later said, "As I was passing in and out of the room, I casually observed the little piece of gum which he was holding near the fire, and he was unusually animated by some discovery which he had made. He nailed the piece of gum outside the kitchen door in the intense cold. In the morning, he brought it in, holding it up exultingly. He had found it perfectly flexible, as it was when he put it out."
So he had made a new rubber with completely different properties, one that seemed to be temperature resistant and much stronger. In fact, we're going to test out unprocessed rubber against rubber processed in this way.
Okay, so this is uncured rubber, and I'm going to see how far I can pull it.
Uncured rubber is very soft and stretches really far before easily breaking.
It's going to hurt.
We need to cure it.
What does it smell like to you?
It smells like a barbecue.
This smells like a barbecue.
The smell of rubber does not seem to be natural. Like it smells very chemically, like it was made in a factory.
Yeah, so when I was in the factory and I saw the natural rubber, it smelled just like a barbecue. And the reason is they take the sap
from the rubber tree, which is latex, and then they smoke it.
They're smoking it?
Yeah.
Like you'd smoke some salmon?
Yeah.
They smoke the rubber sheets to get rid of excess moisture and to preserve it by getting rid of the bacteria.
This gives most natural rubber a sort of brownish color.
So, step 1, add the rubber. One at a time.
Next, you add several powders, including sulfur. Everything is mixed and heated to get a much stronger rubber.
Just pull it straight off.
That's why.
Yeah, we can
Pretty tough.
It is tough, eh? Now it's like wicked hard, yeah.
Now, at 393 kilopascals, the uncured rubber broke after extending just under 900% of its original length. At the same stress, the cured rubber had only stretched around 5%. It eventually broke at 14.1 megapascals, after stretching nearly 600% of its original length. So what was it about sulfur and heat that changed the properties so dramatically?
Well, chemically, sulfur powder is just rings of 8 sulfur atoms. On the hot stove, the sulfur ring broke apart into smaller pieces. And now those sulfur atoms, or sulfur chains, have free bonding sites, so they look for places to attach. What likely happened is they grabbed onto a carbon atom from a rubber chain, breaking its double bond and attached itself. Then with another free bonding site, it grabbed onto a carbon atom from a different rubber chain, breaking its double bond and linking the 2 rubber chains together. This cross-linking forms flexible bridges of 1, 2, or even more sulfur atoms in a row. Now think about what this does to the rubber. Instead of each chain being loose and slippery like spaghetti, they're tied together in a flexible but connected network. So now, if rubber sits out in the sun on a hot summer's day, the tight bonds prevent it from melting. And in the cold, the cross-links make it harder for the rubber to fully freeze, so it's less brittle and harder to break. And when you pull on the rubber, the chains stretch just as before, but as you release it, everything returns to its original position because it's all connected. So the crosslinks make the rubber stronger, more resistant to temperature changes, and more elastic. In fact, by tweaking the number and properties of these crosslinks, you can change the properties of rubber. If you have a lot of crosslinks, all the rubber chains are bound tightly together, so the rubber becomes harder and stiffer. Great for things like shoe soles and tires that need to be durable but still a little flexible. If you have shorter crosslinks, each link is harder to break, so the rubber is more resistant to heat and weathering. This is useful for seals and insulators. And if you have longer crosslinks, the rubber chains can move more freely, so you can stretch it more before it breaks. That's perfect in the medical field for soft and flexible applications.
So the crosslinks are essential to stabilizing rubber.
When Hayward sprinkled sulfur powder on rubber sheets, the heat from the sun did cause some cross-linking, but only on the surface. When Charles kneaded in sulfur and then heated the entire mixture, the crosslinks grew throughout the entire sample. So now the results were much better. Eventually, this process was called vulcanization, after the Roman god Vulcan, who was associated with heat and sulfur in volcanoes.
Over the next 5 years, Charles perfected his method of vulcanization, and then he patented it in 1844. With this, he transformed rubber from a curiosity into a material of endless possibilities.
Little did he know that he actually wasn't the first to discover it.
The Mayans or the Aztecs created rubber. Were they also vulcanizing rubber, or was this
They actually were.
In fact, Charles' discovery was very similar to what the Mesoamericans had been doing for thousands of years. They'd taken the juice from the morning glory, which contained sulfur, mixed it with natural latex, and then, by laying it out in the sun, it would heat up and actually naturally create the crosslinks that he discovered in his kitchen.
Why did the Europeans, why did they have to reinvent the whole thing? Why didn't they just ask them?
Well, they hadn't even noticed, I don't think.
No.
In the decades after Charles's invention, tons and tons of products were invented or improved with rubber.
Richards makes bold claim he could cross Pacific in this outfit.
The inflatable bicycle tire arrived in 1888, the first rubber gloves for medical purposes in 1890, and the first car tire in 1895. And all of this was thanks to Charles' invention.
But despite almost single-handedly transforming the rubber industry, he never made much money. I mean, he spent thousands of dollars defending his inventions in patent disputes. And when he passed away in 1860 at the age of 59, he was over $200,000 in debt. That would be around $7.7 million today.
38 years later, American entrepreneur Frank Sieberling founded a tire company and decided to name it in honor of rubber's inventor, Charles Goodyear. Today, the Goodyear company makes $18.9 billion a year in revenue, and it's the third largest tire manufacturer in the world.
Didn't know that.
For the past
Damn.
100 years, tires have consumed the most natural rubber out of any application. But vulcanized rubber alone isn't strong enough and would wear down quickly, lasting only around 8,000 kilometers. So in the early 1900s, car and tire companies started experimenting with additives, including something called carbon black.
So in natural rubber, we got carbon black
Reinforcement.
which is going to add the cross-linking.
This doesn't do the cross-linking.
No, it doesn't?
So this is the reinforcement and filler. This makes it durable and resilient.
Nowadays, passenger car tires last about 100,000 kilometers. Carbon black is what gives them their color and durability.
But carbon black has another benefit. It conducts electricity.
That's hugely important because as you're driving down the road, you're charging up the vehicle. If you didn't dissipate that static charge, then you get a shock when you earth the car, when you touch the car.
But later, some companies wondered if they could reduce rolling friction by using a different additive. So they tried silica instead, making a whitish-looking tire. But silica is a poor conductor, and rubber itself is an insulator. So now, as the car moved, it would slowly build up charge.
As you go to refuel the car, you have a highly charged, static electricity charged vehicle. You put an earthed conductor, the fuel hose, into the tank.
Creates a
You
spark.
create a spark in the tank, car explodes. There's a very vital characteristic of tires is that they should be conductive. The other benefit is if you're in a thunderstorm and you're struck by lightning, the lightning will hit the car, it will act as a Faraday cage, it will completely protect you, and it will dissipate down to the ground.
So people have stuck to using carbon black for most of the tire and only a little silica in the treads.
And since Goodyear's invention, we've made over 70 billion tires.
Damn.
If they were stacked on top of each other, they could go to the moon and back 21 times.
Holy fuck.
And almost all of these tires needed natural rubber. But fueling the rubber boom came at a price, especially early on. In the late 19th century, the Amazon region supplied over 90% of the world's rubber. But wild rubber trees were often separated by hundreds of meters. So to keep up with growing demand, rubber barons began to exploit natives, killing roughly 40,000 people in the Putumayo region alone.
Sounds about
and
right.
likely
Fucking
over
humans.
100,000 across the wider Amazon region between 1879
Only
and 1911.
30 fucking years?
The
Holy
humanitarian
shit.
activist Roger Casement said that it was first called India rubber because it came from the Indies, and the earliest European use of it was to rub out or erase. It is now called India rubber because it rubs out or erases the Indians.
Damn!
Is one of the most appalling instances of genocide and sickening ill treatment of native peoples.
But other countries like England weren't happy with Brazil's monopoly. So in 1876, the biopirate Henry Wickham managed to smuggle 70,000 rubber seeds back to England. The British Empire planted these seeds all over Southeast Asia, which had a similar climate. Only now, instead of having just a few rubber trees here and there, they made farms of acres and acres of nothing but rubber trees. These plantations produced far more than the Amazon. Brazil's share of the rubber supply dropped from over 80% in 1907 to 1.6% just over 3 decades later. By the mid-1930s, over 90% of all rubber came from the British colonies in Southeast Asia. And 2/3 of that rubber went into making car tires. One of the largest car manufacturers at the time was Ford, which made an average of 1.5 million cars every year. And Henry Ford wasn't comfortable with England's monopoly. So in 1928, he bought 10,000 square kilometers of land from the Brazilian government to build a utopian town. He called it Fordlandia. It had Cape Cod cottages, a hospital, swimming pools, a golf course, and little red fire hydrants. It was an American city in the middle of the Amazon. It could house 10,000 people, all working to plant millions of rubber trees.
Ford plantation is a successful enterprise, a tribute to skill and science.
But in the early 1930s, things started to go wrong.
Vexer,
Every
hey,
morning,
how's
the
it
workers
going?
would wake up,
Welcome.
walk
How
to
are
the line
you?
of rubber trees, and they'd notice black spots.
We were discussing the end of
Just a
humanity
few
with
at
the end
first,
of rubber
little
because rubber is
specks on the
endangered.
undersides of the leaves, like flecks of soot. But by the afternoon, they'd spread to cover the leaves entirely. And the next morning, the leaves were falling off. Shortly after that,
This is Veritasium.
the tree died.
And we are watching a thing about rubber and how rubber trees are endangered and how if we lose the ability to produce rubber by losing this tree, it would basically destroy all of human civilization because we rely way too much on rubber. And we have no other substitute for it. It's just like plastic. It's like the two kingpins of what our society is pretty much fucked without.
Every day, another row
We're gonna have an
of
ad
trees
break
was
in a second
infected
here.
and dying.
People who've seen it say it looks like a fire front. You have the infected trees, and it's green on one side and black on the other. And you see that black line move day by day. You could virtually watch it move, leaving dead trees behind it.
And one of the problems with that is because
The
there's no
trees were
diversity.
infected by the-
There's no diversity between plants when they planted these orchards. Like a movie or something? Is Veritasium just does like educational videos on like science and stuff like that. It's an amazing channel.
The South American leaf blight, a fungus native to South America. This blight ruined the 3.6 million rubber trees from Ford's plantations by the early 1940s, turning it into a disaster. When planting his rubber trees, instead of separating them by hundreds of meters like they were in the wild, he planted them several meters apart, 200,000 of them.
They're all touching. The roots are touching, the leaves are touching.
Yeah, that's never a good thing. Never a good thing. You always need diversity, and this is one of the problems we've found out with like farming and stuff like that. Which is why there's like pushes to have like basically have it illegal to have like a single field of a single thing, where you have to have diversity simply because we are running into problems where our crops are getting to the point of, like, if you ever watched Interstellar, like literally all the crops are starting to die, like one by one, and it's like this is due to the fact that there's usually only one type of crop. So if a disease does pop up, it completely annihilates that crop and mutates so much it usually becomes unstoppable. Whereas before, usually what would happen is, if you know, in nature you have a bunch of different plants, so it would have different things, so they would, you know, gain diversity. When it jumped, let's say, from an orange tree to an apple tree, it couldn't deal with the apple tree, it weakened and had to change, and that made it so it didn't have one singular direction. But if the virus only needs to move, or disease only needs to move in one direction to affect everything around it, it's a pandemic. Should I like mysterious things more? Mysterious things are pretty cool.
The branches are touching, and so it's just like a plague runs straight through the plantation.
Ford tried relocating the project to a town downstream, Belterra, planting another 16,000 acres with rubber trees.
Idiot.
But these too all died.
Ford's son eventually abandoned the project in 1945. The Fordlandia buildings still stand in Brazil, abandoned.
And to this day, there is no cure for the leaf blight.
The blight is so fatal to rubber trees, they can't grow in plantations in their native country.
That's why South America makes up less than 2% of the rubber supply. Over 90% comes from
I'll make something to eat and come back. Alright, sounds good, Vexer. Have a good one.
Asia.
Thanks for popping
which
in.
Which is why it is so essential to prevent the spread of the leaf blight to Southeast Asia.
Virtually all of the rubber trees in Southeast Asia came from those seeds Henry Wickham stole, and newer trees are just clones of the old ones. So the farms are essentially just one big monoculture.
as a consequence of that, we are particularly prone to potential outbreaks of funguses and things like that. If you get a fungal infection in Malaysia, then you would end up dramatically reducing global production of rubber.
So what's the outcome if we were cut off from rubber?
If SAL gets established in Southeast Asia and you lose natural rubber, then you're talking about a complete global societal meltdown. You're left now with making synthetic rubber tires at the most. Worst case, they can't make them. You can't make a truck tire. You won't have any airplanes. But the real potential is urban famine. Over 50% of the world's population is in cities. How will you move food into the cities to feed them?
But something like this did wipe out a large part of the rubber supply just 6 years ago.
In 2019, 2 different diseases jumped from palm trees to rubber trees in Thailand.
In 6 months, these diseases had spread across 7 countries and 1 million acres of trees. And the next year saw a 10% drop in production.
And the only reason it didn't destroy more trees was because of a different outbreak that we all remember.
COVID comes in early 2020. It stopped the spread of these diseases as a byproduct of trying to stop the spread of COVID. If COVID hadn't hit there, how far would that have gone? How many more millions of acres would have, in effect, been killed or seriously compromised by these 2 leaf blights?
Granted, it's hard to predict what would happen if we ran out of natural rubber. Some say the impact could be catastrophic. Grounded planes, failed railways, even famine. And any disruption to the oil supply chain would send shockwaves through synthetic rubber products. But oil is such a polarizing and politically charged topic, deeply tied to global power struggles and hidden incentives, that it's hard to know what's truly at stake. That's why we specifically asked Ground News to sponsor this video. They gather news sources from around the world in one spot, so you can read about the same issue from different perspectives with the context needed to separate facts from politics. For example, Iran controls a single strait that handles roughly 20% of the world's oil. What happens when they threaten to close it amid US strikes on their nuclear sites? Well, on the topic, USA Today ran, "Oil hits 5-month high after US strikes key Iranian nuclear sites." But the New York Post led with, "US stocks surge after restrained Iran attack on US base." One headline warned of a looming energy crisis, the other, "Stock market rally and strategic restraint." It's the same event, but completely different conclusions. In times of uncertainty, knowing who is telling you the story and why is just as important as knowing what actually happened. Ground News helps you do that by showing you the split headlines and surfacing stories hidden from your usual news feeds due to bias through their blind spot feed. In fact, the Nobel Peace Center called Ground News an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers, and to expand your worldview. And I agree. If we want to properly understand the crises affecting us here at home and around the world, we need better tools. And I can't recommend Ground News as that tool enough. So visit ground.news/BE or scan the QR code here to subscribe for a 40% discount off their Vantage plan, but only with our link, ground.news/BE. I'd like to thank Ground News for sponsoring this video, and now, back to rubber.
We take natural rubber for granted in a huge number of different products. So if you take a typical car, there's something close to 250 to 300 rubber components within the car. You would have a nightmare trying to re-engineer all of those out of synthetic materials.
If we were to lose natural rubber and just rely on synthetic rubber, would it still be possible to do those applications?
So this has happened in the past. If you think about it, all of these synthetic polymers come from that initial thought process that we can't get natural rubber, we have to create other stuff. It's a national security issue.
That's wild.
You're just like, oh, it's a tire, but think about it. If you don't have tires, you can't move a military.
Yeah.
The obvious question is, if natural rubber is so great, why can't we just replicate it in the lab? And that's the exact thing that the US tried when during the Second World War, Japan cut it off from roughly 97% of the world's natural rubber supply.
Modern wars cannot be won without rubber.
What then happened was an enormous investment by the US, equivalent to $11.1 billion in today's terms, into synthetic rubber and growing alternative natural rubber crops.
That's roughly a third of the Manhattan Project. It was a complete gamble, but the 4 big US tire companies were able to improve and manufacture a synthetic rubber called styrene butadiene in less than 3 years. Unlike natural rubber, styrene butadiene is made from 2 monomers, roughly 25% styrene and 75% butadiene. Both usually come from crude oil refining. The monomers are dispersed in water and combine into long chains in a random arrangement. Then the rubber is vulcanized. Now, compared to natural rubber, it doesn't wear down as quickly under friction, but it has a much lower tensile strength. In 1942, the US used 99.6% natural rubber and 0.4% synthetic. But in 1945, it was practically reversed at 14% natural and 86% synthetic. Now, almost 70% of all rubber consumed is synthetic, and the most common one is still styrene butadiene. But there are some things that natural rubber is just better at.
If you think about airplane tires, it's absolutely incredible that they're up there at umpteen degrees below zero before they start to come into land. And then you've got this huge weight of the airplane on these dinky little tires that increase in temperature enormously over an incredibly small space of time. And only natural rubber can do it. So airplane tires are essentially 100% natural rubber. And you can't land if you've got synthetic in the tire.
So what can natural rubber do that we just can't replicate?
Okay, what I want you to think about is you start to stretch it. This first movement, it's very easy to stretch that bit. That first bit, very simple. Now, think about how much force you're using to continue to stretch it.
Yeah, it gets harder.
It gets harder and harder and harder and harder.
Yeah,
and then eventually you'll get to a break point.
Yeah.
But what's happening, why it's getting harder, is that the rubber is getting stronger as you stretch it.
As you stretch the polymers, they start to align and stick together through weak intermolecular forces called van der Waals forces. When they are packed tightly enough, the polymers freeze together in thin sheet-like crystals aligned in the direction you stretch. And as you keep pulling, more and more polymers join the crystal structure. Each crystal acts as a new crosslink, making the rubber harder and stronger.
That ability to form crystallites prevents tear. So if you have crack propagation, it hits a crystal and can't go any further.
In a sample without a crack, the stress is evenly distributed. But if there is a crack, more load flows right to the edge, so the rubber stretches more. That area forms more crystals, so it becomes harder to break. The crystals stop the crack growth until a threshold is reached, and then it breaks. This is what makes natural rubber so durable. It's self-reinforcing under stress, stopping cracks in their tracks.
Crystallization is what makes natural rubber so good for tough applications.
The plane can weigh 500-600 tons. So if you think about that, you've got each tire is taking 20 tons, and it's coming from a very cold temperature up there. Yeah, it's minus 50, minus 60, depending on exactly how high you've been flying. And you go from zero rotational speed to quite fast, very fast, and you generate a lot of frictional heat really quickly as well. There's a reason why they make tires for planes out of natural rubber, and that's because it's really demanding application. And the crystallization helps a huge amount preserve those tires and help them last.
One study notes that experiment has shown that no detectable crack propagation occurs in rubber undergoing crystallization until the stress is so high as to generate abrupt, catastrophic fracture.
Oh, that was fast.
And then eventually you'll get to a break point. And yeah, you finally overcame it.
When you pull on a rubber sample, you're applying a stress. The polymers realign and the wiggle unfolds, so the piece deforms and gets longer. The per unit change in length is known as strain, and we can plot this on a stress-strain curve. Lots of materials are elastic around low stresses. You stretch it a little, and the spacing between atoms changes. But when you remove the force, it goes back to its original shape. But eventually, you hit a stress where there is permanent deformation. That's called the yield point. The material can't go back to the same shape after, and if you keep going, it will fracture. But the stress-strain curve for rubber is a little weird. It starts out stretching very far with very little force. That's the easy part. But then as you keep pulling, the stress shoots up really fast.
So stretch it fast. What do you notice?
It's a little warm, maybe?
It's hot. It's gone up in temperature by 10 degrees.
That section where it gets really hard to pull it any further and it gets hotter, that's right where rubber starts to crystallize. The rubber warms up because as those new bonds form, they release a bit of energy as heat. Then, if you keep stretching it, you get to the point where the crystal can no longer hold it, and it breaks. But something strange happens if you stop right before that fracture point. Then the rubber bounces back, but on a lower curve.
Keep it stretched and wiggle it around. Now, relax it. Touch your lips. What do you got?
Now it's like much cooler.
Yeah. So you went from crystallization from it. You stretched it, you crystallized. That's an exothermic reaction.
Wow, okay.
You then allowed it to cool down to room temperature in the stretch state, and you relaxed it, and you dissolved the crystals.
That's weird.
How do you dissolve the crystals? You've got to take energy from somewhere to dissolve crystals. You cool the rubber band down.
The reason the two curves are different is because it takes more energy to align the polymers than it does for the polymers to curl back up. And this energy difference is exactly the heat that's released over a full cycle. We've seen that natural rubber is built using these building blocks, but the technical monomer is actually isoprene, which looks like this. It's the same atoms, but with some groups and bonds moved around. So the technical term for rubber is cis-1,4 polyisoprene.
And we've actually been able to make synthetic cis-1,4 polyisoprene. You can take isoprene and polymerize it. So it should behave exactly like natural rubber, right?
And that one is the closest, but it doesn't perform nearly as well because it's not structurally as perfect as natural rubber.
See, there are two ways for the monomers to attach. In natural rubber, they attach on the same side, the cis attachment.
The percentage of cis in the molecular chain that nature can provide is really accurately. It's 99.99%, something of that sort of scale.
But with synthetic rubber, it's easy for monomers to attach on the opposite side of the double bond. That's the trans attachment. But now there's more room for them to lay flat. They don't have that extra wiggle, so they stretch less and don't crystallize very well.
And when you make the synthetic equivalent, it's pretty good, but it's 98% cis polyisoprene. There is, 1 or 2% is going to be trans polyisoprene, and therefore isn't so susceptible for crystallization, and it's not as good and hasn't got the same strength properties that natural rubber would have.
In a tensile test, a synthetic rubber also stretched to around 600% before breaking, but it only took around 9.1 megapascals compared to over 14.1 megapascals for natural rubber. But there are a few areas where synthetic rubber is actually better than natural. Under low stress, where crystallization doesn't happen, natural rubber loses the advantage, so synthetic is preferred for the tread of passenger car tires for better abrasion resistance. Nitrile rubber, a synthetic rubber used for gloves, also blocks harsher chemicals from passing through.
So in polyisoprene, we used to see, let's say in chemotherapy agents, maybe 80-90% permeation. In nitrile, we see maybe 10-20.
Wow.
So it's much better.
That's huge.
That's huge. For a cancer center worker, that's huge.
Nitrile gloves were developed in the late 1980s during the global AIDS pandemic in response to the growing latex allergy.
Surprisingly, gloves weren't required for every single procedure until the CDC published a mandate to prevent HIV transmission in 1987. After, the demand for gloves went from 300 million to over 36 billion by the end of the 1980s.
Well, dozens of new latex glove factories sprang up to meet the demands. Typically, after a mold is dipped in latex, the glove is leached and lots of proteins from the tree are just washed away. But then they got rid of that step.
This meant that all of those soluble proteins were left in the glove.
So when nurses or doctors were putting on or taking off these unleached powdered gloves, they would disperse all of those proteins into the air.
The nursing staff were breathing those particles in, breathing that dust in, through their entire shifts and into their lungs. And the patients, you've got these gloves with loads of proteins washing that away around in your innards.
Thousands of people were exposed enough to become allergic to latex.
In the early 90s, it said if you've had 4 surgical procedures, you almost certainly have type 1 latex allergy. If you've had 10, you do.
So eventually manufacturers received enough complaints that they started leaching again, but by then it was too late. Even if something's been properly leached, if someone has that type 1 latex allergy, they're still going to react to it.
Nitrile gloves help combat that allergy, but for long surgeries, some doctors still prefer the softer and more comfortable glove that comes from natural latex. So Dr. Cornish has been working on alternative natural rubber from the Waiuli plant, which doesn't have the proteins that people are allergic to. This plant can grow in desert climates, and it makes a stronger, softer rubber than even the Brazilian rubber tree.
Not only does scaling up guayuli help with the latex allergy, it's also a safeguard in case the blight ever makes its way across to Southeast Asia.
I had no idea that's why
Transportation,
so many people are
healthcare,
allergic to
construction,
latex.
There are so many industries that are dependent on natural rubber.
There are regulations around South American leaf blight control, and it's difficult to get a direct flight from Brazil to Southeast Asia, but not impossible.
It seems short-sighted to leave the industry vulnerable to like one bad flight. For a material that only became useful around 200 years ago, it's now hard to imagine life without it. When Henry Ford developed Fordlandia, he didn't consult a single rubber tree expert who could have told him about the blight. So let's not make that same mistake again.
True. But hell yeah, that's Veritasium, guys. Go give him a view, give him a sub, give him a like. This channel is fucking amazing. Do tons of science shit and stuff.
Mistakes will absolutely.
Mistakes will happen. Believe it. Alright, let's do it, guys. It's that time. Get out of there. Alright, there we go. Notes. Notes on career destroying
Any
mistakes.
one of these 10 mistakes will absolutely destroy your writing career. And I wish someone would have given me this advice when I was a lot younger, because it would have saved me a lot of broken drafts and a lot of failed expectations. And after you watch this, make sure to comment below with what mistake you've made. Number 1. Thinking you're smart. Now, why is this a mistake? Well, because when you think that you're smart, it gives you less incentive to work hard. I think you have to realize that you are competing with millions of other writers, and that when it comes to IQ, writers tend to be a little bit higher than the average IQ. On the IQ creativity spectrum, you're probably somewhere in the middle. Believing that you're smart also hinders your ability to take criticism, hinders your drive to read, and hinders your ability to learn from others. As you can tell, this is probably the biggest mistake you can make as a writer. What sets you apart as a writer is not your intelligence, it's your work ethic. All the writers that I know who have made it big time, they all spend 2 to 4 hours a day writing every single day. They're smart, sure, but I don't think they think of themselves as smart. They think of themselves as being hard workers. 2, repressing your emotions. To be a writer, you need a black belt in emotion. If you squelch your emotion or let it slip away, you're never going to be able to make your reader feel something. You have to feel something first before you can make your character feel it, before the character makes the reader feel it. That means it all starts with you and your emotions. I see a lot of writers avoid writing the things that they're supposed to write about because they're afraid of the emotions that it'll bring up. But you should absolutely write about the things that devastate you and thrill you. The more you spread your messy emotions all over the page, the more readers are going to identify with your characters and with you as an author. 3, being idealistic. This is often the scourge of young writers. And I say young writers rather than beginning writers because it's often young people who have the highest expectations of how their career will turn out. Look, if you get a story published, don't regret that it didn't get published in a better magazine. Don't insist on only sending your book to the best, most high-profile agent. And don't insist on only writing a perfect novel. A novel is great not in spite of its imperfections, but because of them. I want to encourage you to be as practical as possible. Think about your audience, think about the type of book that they would want to read, and write that book. There's a difference between writing a book that sells and writing a book that is mainly for your own ego. Writing is a very tough business. Try to be as practical as you can rather than being too idealistic. 4, writing for writers rather than for readers. If you've been in an MFA program or if you've been in a writing group, then you are writing instinctually toward other writers. Think about all the people who have read your books over the years. What percentage of them are fellow writers? And what percentage of them are readers? If you've said most of the people who've read my work are writers, then you are really writing to writers rather than readers. But surprise, the vast majority of your audience are going to just be regular, average readers, and they have different expectations than what writers might have. So don't be writing to please your teachers or your professors or your fellow writers. Write to please your audience. The fifth mistake you should avoid is reading only good books. Read bad books. Seriously, bad books are so educational. I love reading a bad book, especially when it's by a good author. Paul Auster, I'm looking at you. Because I'll make a long list in the back of the book of what's not working. And then I remind myself, oh, don't do any of that in your own book. It's about 10,000 times more instructive than reading a good book. Because you read a good book seamlessly. You sort of fall into the dream and let it carry you along. And you reach the end and you're like, oh, that was wonderful, but also maybe you don't know what to do to imitate that. So bad books can be just as instructive or more instructive than good books. But just remember, you don't have to finish a bad book. Like if you really hate a book, don't be one of those type of people like plow through it. No. Throw it away and start the next book. 6, being a lone wolf. The act of writing is a very solitary event, but the career of writing requires a whole village. You need to surround yourself with a ton of other writers, which means you should be going to conferences, you should be going to readings, you should be going to any events about books in your area. You should be developing online relationships as well. Remember that you are the average of your 5 best writing friends. If you surround yourself with other good writers, they're gonna propel you to become a better writer. So go ahead. Take a moment right now and write down your 5 best writing friends. If you don't have 5 writing friends, that's okay.
Damn, I don't have any friends.
And if you do have 5 writing friends, then think about the average between all of them and think, okay, are you comfortable with being
probably
that
the
level
lowest.
of talent? The more writers you know, the more
The bottom of the
opportunities
brick,
you have. It's more
besides
context
Smokey.
for
But
agents,
Smokey's
for
funny.
publishers, for blurbs. A lot
Bullshit.
of being a writer really comes down to who you know. 7, lacking a mentor. Yeah, it's a problem if you don't have someone to guide you along in the writing life. So if you can't find one, then you might have to pay one.
Book
and hire a
Fox is
writing
my
coach.
fucking
A mentor's
mentor.
just gonna save you from 1,000 missteps and wrong directions and false hopes. And mentors don't only exist to give you feedback on manuscript. I mean, really, that's the job more of a developmental editor. When I say mentor, I'm really talking about career coaching. I'm talking about deciding what book to write next. I'm talking about them telling you which conferences to attend. Those little tiny pieces of advice add up to direct your entire career. Try not to go at it on your own. Find a mentor you can trust. 8, being impatient. Endurance is one of the greatest virtues of a writer. When I see writers who have failed in their career, it's because they didn't write that 3rd book, right? They didn't publish the first 2 and they decided, I guess this isn't for me. And they weren't willing to try again. There is a lot of failure in the writing life for everybody. There's a lot of rejection, there's a lot of heartbreak. So if you're not the patient type that believes in endurance, that believes in year after year after year to keep trying, you're just not gonna make it. Everyone wants to hit that bestseller list really fast and have the world wake up and realize their genius. Patience is the virtue that will get you there. 9, it's a mistake to act like the hare and not the tortoise. Do you know the worst writing plan in the world? Oh, I'm gonna try this whole writing thing for a year. Don't even think about success with that plan. Becoming a writer doesn't take a year. It takes 5 years, it takes 10 years. Writing is a long path. Don't burn out with these short little spurts of energy. Like the tortoise, it's all about being slow and steady, writing every single day, putting in that time. Here's my advice. Come up with a 5-year plan for your writing life and come up with a 10-year plan for your writing life. If you cast this vision into the future, you're gonna have the
30-year
endurance
plan
to stick to your goals and to make it. And the 10th and final mistake you can make is sticking with the same genre.
Yep.
If you've written the same genre your entire writing life, you might be in a rut. If you write literary works, try YA. If you write YA, try a screenplay. If you write screenplays, try a stage play. If you write romance, try sci-fi. It's called cross-training. By switching genres, you're helping these writing muscles that will help you when you return to your original genre. The novelists will probably find that they get a lot better at writing dialogue if they focus on stage plays and screenplays for a little bit. The YA writer might get a lot better at sentences if they try literary fiction. Often, by switching to a completely different mode of writing, you
I love
unleash your
short
full
stories.
potential. And hey, who knows, maybe you were writing the wrong genre all along and you'll discover a talent for a new style.
Damn, that ended fucking abruptly. Well, shit, that's another video down, guys. So I think we passed this test too. I mean, that was pretty decent, right? I mean, we fell into like a little bit of a pitfall of each of them, of course, but that's just kind of how it happens, right? But most of that is like situational with me. I try to do everything I can online, but I just don't have the ability. And you know, I interact with as many people as I can, talk and market my book or my ideas or my creativity as much as I can. But it's like I don't really have the ability to work with like other people in real life who are writers, which is why I like this, because I need to find other people who are writers. But it's not easy to do being in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. So that's why we're here, guys. That's why you guys are here for me, right? We got this. It's all about you guys. I believe in yous. Well, we got no one else today because I guess we can read the next chapter of Frost and Flame. Let's do that. This one's getting really good. They're starting to run away. They're in the south now. So it's going to be really interesting. See where they go from here. Interlude 3. The Woman in the Iron Mask. Ooh, interesting. The Man in the Iron Mask. What a movie. Alright. Perfect. I feel like for some reason I didn't take it. No, this is because it's an interlude, so it doesn't have. It's from one of the other characters' perspectives. Okay, that makes sense. I love the way that the story's written with its with the parts and stuff like that, because it gives you the different perspectives of all the storylines that are going on and the entire backstory of how the world is structured at the moment. We're gonna have an ad in a second here, so we're just gonna slow take a toke, and then we'll go back to reading. And it'll probably end there, because, I'm fucking tired as shit. So we got 4 more days, boys. Tomorrow we'll come back strong, but for now, we're just gonna call it where it is, pretty much. We've got another 20 minutes or so. Something like that, guys. We'll get somewhere. Then we can go find someone. Unlike Smokey. Little bitch. Fuck you, Smokey. I know you're there. Don't lie to me. Alright. Scusi. Prince Yi Seok awoke with a jolt. His lips were numb, sealed by a damp and bitter rag. His wrist ached, bound tightly with coarse rope that bit into his skin, numbing the blood in his hands. Frost had slipped beneath his filthy garments, clinging to his skin like invisible claws. He was kneeling alone in the center of a snow-draped clearing, encircled by frostbitten trees whose branches hung like blades carved from the sky. The air was so thick, so cold, it clawed at his lungs with every breath. Before him stood a motionless figure. She wore a blackened iron mask, expressionless, unyielding, Her slender frame contrasted starkly with the weight of the mask. A dark cloak clung to her shoulders, rustling faintly in the white wind. Yet Yi Seok, though dizzy, saw something else. Behind her, a shadow stirred, a creature of the void. Its shape was amorphous, dense smoke trapped in translucent flesh, and now and then its limbs stretched with unnatural motion. Its eyes, if one could call them such, were dull voids burning with a sickly inner light. Yi Seok shivered. The masked figure stepped forward. Her boots barely left a trace upon the snow. "Awake, are we?" Her voice slithered forth, smooth and subterranean. "Good. The ritual requires consciousness, at least for a while." Yi Seok narrowed his eyes. Though her voice was distorted behind the iron, there was something in her timbre. Something he recognized. A woman. He clenched his fist, tried to speak, but the gag stifled his cry. She crouched in front of him and tilted her head. "Don't pretend," she whispered. "You've heard my voice before, haven't you, little prince? Though I doubt you remember clearly." She turned slightly, letting the dying light reveal the small ivory box in her hands. "These are things," she said, "that must be undone. Chaos cannot return if order still owns your soul." She opened the box with a brittle click. Inside lay a slender black needle, glistening like obsidian, nestled in blue silk. Yi Seok struggled. His eyes widened in alarm as the figure moved behind him. He tried to scream, but only choked against the gag. Even with his low spiritual grade, he could feel the energy emanating from that box. She murmured softly as she pressed the needle against the base of his neck. "It's a spiritual poison, distilled during an eclipse night. It won't kill you. Quite the opposite. It will set you free." A stab of pain. Yi Seok whimpered. A cold liquid slid beneath his skin, down his spine like a ribbon of frost. His body convulsed. The world dissolved. His will began to fade, his dreams, his mother, his brother, Yi Huan, his name, all becoming a white fog. Figure leaned close, whispering flatly, "When the new sun rises, you will walk toward it, not as a prince, but as an instrument. We have shaped you for something greater." Yi Seok slowly lifted his head. His once worn eyes were now hollow. "Yes," he murmured, his voice vacant. "What do you command, my lady?" He stood, satisfied. The creature of the void emitted a sharp sound, like the echo of praise in the language never meant for human tongues. She stepped back, watched the boy's obedience with precision. "Now listen carefully, Yi Seok. You must act as though you are still yourself, the timid prince, the gentle one, the weak, fearful boy they all believe you to be. You will arouse no suspicion, not until you are close enough." She raised a hand. The creature of the void slithered backward, melting into the frozen shadows. "Tell your brother that you support him, that you've witnessed his power, that you wish to learn from him, that you were sorry for your jealousy, that you want to help him rule. Do you understand?" Yi Seok nodded slowly, his words ringing like echoes in an empty chamber. "Gain his trust, feign obedience, draw closer." "Yes," she smiled beneath the iron. "The Winter King opens his heart reluctantly, but he does open it. And you will be the crack through which chaos enters the world." Yi Seok turned his gaze to the ashen sky. His breath was a fragile thread in the cold. "And when will he fall?" The woman turned. "When the dawn sun rises upon the throne, and there is no one left to see but the void." The prince nodded again. She snapped her fingers. The sound sliced the silence like a muted thunderclap. And suddenly, something shifted in Yi Seok. He blinked twice. His posture slackened. The rigid shell melted into vulnerability. His vacant stare filled with warmth false but convincing. A tremulous smile formed on his lips. The boy they once knew had returned. But inside, nothing remained. The woman observed him. The face that once held a soul was now a mask of flesh. "Good," she said, circling him like a serpent coiling around wood. "You are yourself again, the forgotten prince, the child no one watches, the shadow behind the crown." Yi Seok lowered his gaze as if ashamed. "You'll return to your brother," she continued. "Speak to him with an open heart. Pretend you care, feign regret, admiration, fear. Be his mirror, and in that reflection he will see himself." She stopped behind him. The void creature crept at the clearing's edge, coiled and expectant. "But listen to this more than anything, Yi Seok," she whispered, her tongue grave, conspiring. "I will make him use the white eye. I must push him to release that power, stir his fury, his grief, his doubt, whatever it takes. I hope he is foolish enough to answer my summons. Yiseok turned to her, his eyes now glistening with false tenderness. Why? She raised a hand and pointed to the sky, gray and starless, the sun long buried behind endless clouds. Because when the Winter King unleashes his true power, when the eye fully awakens, the seal will begin to crack. She stepped closer, placing a hand on his shoulder. That eye is not merely a weapon, Yiseok, it is a gate. If it opens entirely, the void will return, and you will be by his side when it does. Earn his trust, find his weakness, report to me. Yiseok tilted his head, like a child who did not understand, yet obeyed without question. I will. Once inside the court of ice, she added, seek out the jade blade. Bring it to me, we shall need it. He nodded. And if you fail me, her voice lowered, turning sharp as the frost beneath her feet, I will come for you myself, and send you to the void. There's little left of you to save now, Prince. Yiseok said nothing. She clicked her tongue and turned her on her heel. Come, the court awaits. The game has begun, and every mask must now take its place upon the stage. And so, as snow began to fall once more, like ash from the dying sky, the false Yiseok walked toward his fate. With a trembling smile, with a borrowed heart, with a voice crafted to seduce his brother and destroy him from within. The masked woman walked silently at the front, escorted by the void demon that slithered in her shadow, and the small Prince Yiseok who followed a few paces behind. The boy no longer spoke of his own will. He obeyed, smiled, and moved only when commanded. Everything about him was perfect, except for his eyes, where nothing lived. The path leading toward the temple lay still, soundless, too still. The woman narrowed her gaze behind the iron. The demon growled. A moment later, the snow stopped. Something was wrong. Suppose the king wished to welcome me himself, she thought. A heartbeat, another, then something dropped to the ground, a small black ribbon, sliced in two. Stop, the woman murmured, pupils hidden behind the iron, her instincts on edge. Too late, came a sharp voice from the mist, clear and cold as steel left in the frost. From between the trees emerged a lone figure clad in dark garments, the red crest of the royal guard wrapped around her waist. Her long coat fluttered in the storm. She held her sword unsheathed, and across her shoulder hung a scabbard etched with sword glyphs. The masked woman studied her, the king's blade, the lethal shadow at his side. Unimpressive, she thought, until her gaze drifted to the weapon. The sword shimmered with a pale gold light that did not come from the sun. Its edge glowed with a composed, ancient aura, restrained yet thirsting. Then it spoke, its voice refined and unmistakably female. Is this the demon that brought the stench to the void and to the mountain? Disappointingly small. I wouldn't be so sure, Guemhua. The demon roared in reply, revealing its shadowy maw and tendrils dripping darkness like boiled pitch. The woman took a step back without hesitation. Keep the boy safe, she commanded the creature. And then steel exploded into the storm. Swordswoman lunged. Her speed cracked the frost underneath. Her speed cracked the frozen earth beneath her. Guemhua rang with a high-pitched cry as she sliced through one of the demon's limbs in a single clean stroke. Black sparks flew, not of metal, but of corrupted matter. Every movement she made was graceful, lethal, pure. The demon aimed a claw at her chest, but she spun, slicing upward and cleaving the arm free. You won't hold me long, beast. I've a head to claim, she growled, eyes locked on the masked woman, vanishing into the veil with the boy. Guemhua whispered like a patient and twisted confidant. Do it, don't toy with my meal, Hongyong. Swordswoman invoked the Hohupki of division. Snow lifted in like a tidal wave, and with a single hand seal, Ikcham, she channeled her Ilgi into the blade. The air cracked with golden energy, then her shadow split from her body and leapt toward the masked woman, just as her physical form struck the demon, a blink, a blur. Guanhua's blade sang through the creature, its slash as if 1,000 blades had fallen at once. The demon shrieked, flesh evaporating in the burning wake. One final roar and it collapsed like stone, splintering and blackened. But the masked woman was nowhere to be seen. Her shadow was crushed against the snow, as though something immense had fallen atop it. Hong Yong didn't wait for the doppelganger to dissolve. She sheathed Guanhua in a single swift motion and raced down the path, following the still fresh footprints of the prince and his captor. But Guanhua's voice returned low and windborne. She is fast and powerful. Do not lower your guard. Then I'll have to risk it, Hong Yong replied, eyes narrowed at the storm. I must at least wound her. She hadn't gotten far when the snow grew heavy all at once. She couldn't press forward. The white squall pushed against her, dragging the world backward. She grounded her feet with Ilgi, steadying her balance against the surge, but after only a few steps, the pressure vanished, and she flew. The sudden release launched her like a bolt, her momentum snapping through the gap like a whip. She was flung meters from the trial she was meant to follow. The fall cast her across the drift of snow and into a corpse of skeletal trees that bent and moaned with the wind. "John He, I failed you," she whispered, and Guanhua lamented quietly, for the first time in a long, long while. Damn! She got fucked up. Hell yeah. Alright guys, well, we'll be back again tomorrow for the main event, of course. But for now, you know, this week has been a little bit fucked up, but that's how it always goes, right? You can't win them all. So anyways, thanks for sticking around, thanks for hanging out, guys. We had a good day today, that's all that matters, right? So, if you can't say fuck you to your friends, who can you say fuck you to? Fuck you! Alright, boys, who we rating today? Let's see here. Alright, we got one, guys. Let's go! We got this! I feel like that fucked up. Did that work? That... The fuck happened, guys? Did it not raid? I have no idea. Too much for me, guys. Peace!